Hey guys, welcome to this Final Cut Pro course. So inside this course, we will going to teach you about how to use Final Cut Pro. Okay. So inside this course, we will going to teach you everything from basics. What are the different tools that are available in the Final Cut Pro? What are features like index? What is the feature of effects? How to use it, transactions, and all these remaining settings. We will going to step by step going to guide you from scratch what is the concepts of library, projects and events, how you guys can use text generators and many more. Okay, not only that, we will going to explain you what is the concept of this right settings, which is known as inspectors. Okay, so how you guys can take the benefit of that, how you can just do color gradings, okay, along with color corrections and so on. There are different ways you guys can do that using, let's say, color wheels and many more. Okay, so step by step, if you guys are interested to learn about Final Cut Pro and how to use the different features of Final Cut Pro, so it is very much requested for each and every one of you to follow this course, enroll in this course, learn this course from starting to end. It will really going to help you out. Okay, so we will going to cover each and everything, whether it's a tracking or everything has been covered basically inside this amazing course. So I will see you guys inside this course. Bye bye. So let's see how you guys can download the Final Cut Pro. Okay, it's very simple and easy. You can just first of all search for Final Cut Pro X, and then you guys can just go ahead to the website. So you will going to see that Final Cut Pro is free for a limited time. Okay, so I guess they provide Final Cut Pro free for some time, and along with that you guys can see other stuff, like you can see the minimum system requirement that is required to run Final Cut Pro. Okay, so here you guys can see, if we just talk about Final Cut Pro, so this is the requirement you have to meet. So you should have Mac OS 13.5 or later. You should have 8 GB of RAM and so on, right? And you can see here, so just make sure that your computer or your Mac has this requirement fulfilled to run the Final Cut Pro. So let's see my Mac OS. So you can just always click at the top in the Apple menu, just click on about this Mac, and then you guys can see in my case it's 14.4. so my Mac OS is meeting the requirement, and you can see it requires 8 GB of RAM, okay, and 16 GB recommended for the third party effect. So here you guys can see I have a 64 GB of RAM, so that is more than enough in my case. So similarly, at the top in the Apple icon, you guys can see about your Mac configurations, and you can see whether Final Cut Pro meet your requirement or not. Okay, so here you can see the free trial. If you will just going to click on the free trial, you guys can just run Final Cut Pro for I guess 16 days. Otherwise it will tell you guys to buy. Okay, so you guys can see that right now Final Cut Pro is costing this much amount. It's written in Indian currency. Let me just put this, okay, rupees in USD. So it will be around $360. Okay, it can go up and down. Okay, so this is the current price when I'm recording for this lecture. Okay, so this is the price you have to pay in US dollars. It's around $360. Okay, then you can use this tool for a lifetime, and Apple will going to provide you free updates to this application for a lifetime. Okay, so make sure just go and first of all just go to your app store and just search for Final Cut Pro. So I already have this application. You guys can see in my case it is showing open, but in your case maybe it will give you the option like this, get or purchase, something like that. Okay, so make sure that you just install this application. The size is 4.7 GB when I'm recording. Okay, So let's see how, after you will going to download it. So basically you can just go and see this in the applications. Okay, and here in the application you guys can see the Final Cut Pro. Okay, let me just show you guys. It's might be here and there, I cannot see it. Okay, so here it is, Final Cut Pro. Okay, in case if you don't see the application, just right click, okay, or click on the customize toolbar. Okay, sorry, not here, just go at the top in the finder, I guess. Okay, in the finder just go to settings, okay, and just go to sidebar. From here make sure this application is enabled, then you will going to see your applications here. So Final Cut Pro is here. Otherwise you can also just go to the launch pad, and from here you guys can just search for Final Cut Pro. So here it is. Okay, so this is a great thing, and if you want to use the Final Cut Pro frequently, so you guys can just drag it to your dock like this. Okay, so you can see that I have added the Final Cut Pro to my dock, right? So that's what you guys can even do. Okay, so now Final Cut Pro is here. Let's open this particular application, and after you guys will going to open this application, let's wait for the few seconds, and you guys can see Final Cut Pro is over here. So maybe you guys will going to see some kind of a pop-up, okay, like for new updates and all. So just click on the continue button, and then this is how the interface will going to look like. Maybe in your case also the very first time when you will going to open your Final Cut Pro. So it is that simple to download the Final Cut Pro. Okay, now guys, we will going to talk about the Final Cut Pro interface. So let me just make it to the full window, so you can just click on this green button to go to the complete view of the Final Cut Pro. You can also again back to the original view, and from here you guys can minimize it, so it will just go here. You can again just open it. Okay, so that's the very basic thing. Okay, now if we just talk about the Final Cut Pro interface, so first of all you guys can see here it is showing this code as nothing loaded. That means here you will basically going to see all the previews. That means whatever you will going to do with your clips, whatever editing you will going to do, so all those output will going to show up here. Okay, and one more thing I just want to tell you, in case if I use any word which you are not understanding, so don't worry, in the coming time you will going to understand each and everything throughout the course. But I will try to make sure that everything should be you know, as much as basic to advanced. Okay, so that you can understand each and everything. So in nutshell, whatever effects, whatever editing you will going to do, so if you want to see how the output is looking, so you can see from this preview window. So when we will going to do practice, so at that time you will going to understand better. Then here you guys can see at the top we have this called as, you know, library sidebar. And by the way, for each and everything, for example, if you want to tap here, okay, and if you just take your cursor here and hover, and Final Cut Pro will automatically going to tell you the explanation or description about that particular setting. Okay, similarly you can just go to this second option. This is where you can just show and hide your photos, audio, sidebar. So whatever photos you will going to have, make sure you give access. Okay, so that Final Cut Pro can access all your photos, all your musics, all your Apple TV content, and the sound effect you have. And then next we have is the text. Okay, so from here you can show and hide the titles and the generated you know, generator sidebar. So here you can see all the plenty of titles which you guys can use, and they are literally very powerful. Okay, and then at the bottom you guys can see the last two options which are very much important. So if you will just hover here, okay, so it is the place where you guys can show and hide the effect. Okay, if I will going to click here, so here you guys can see all the different level of, you know, effects which you can put to your video clips. Okay, that is very powerful. and along with that you can see plenty of other options as well. You can also turn it off, just click on it again and it will go. Similarly, at the last we have transactions. Okay, so you can just see all the transactions. Click on this and here you guys can see all the transitions. So from here you guys can make your clips more amazing. Right now, how it works, each and everything will be taught to you, so do not worry for now. Okay, let's close it up. Okay, so in nutshell, this is all about the Final Cut Pro interface, and at the top you guys can make your Final Cut Pro totally customized, okay, according to the interface you are comfortable at. Okay, so at the top you guys will going to see we have 6 dots. Okay, so you guys can hide the browser. For example, if you will click here, so you guys can see this is the browse area, okay, where you guys can see all your titles, photos, and plenty of the other thing. So if you want to hide it, just click here, so it will be hide it. Okay, so basically it will going to show this action and this particular area. Now this particular area is about how you guys can edit your effects and all. Okay, we will going to talk about that in later on, but if you want to see this area and this area in more detail, you have to switch on this option. Okay, like this. Similarly, we have this one, so you can just hide your timeline. So basically, what is timeline? So this is your timeline. Okay, you can see at the very bottom here is the timeline. So this is the place where we will going to put our majority of time. Okay, and this is the place where we will going to do all the editing stuff. Okay, so this is called as timeline. So if you want to hide the timeline, you can just simply click here. So you guys can see your browsing section, your preview section, and your inspect section will going to show in more detail if you will going to turn on this particular sidebar thing like this. Okay, so you can see the things in more detail. Similarly, at the last we have this inspector. Okay, so this is the inspector. If you want to hide it, you can just click here, so you guys can see, you can just see your browsing tab in more detail, your preview tab in more detail, and of course your timeline as well. So this is all about the interface of Final Cut Pro, and for each and every settings we will go in more detail if possible. Okay, so this is all about the Final Cut Pro interface. Hope you guys have got some idea about the place of Final Cut Pro where we will going to work. Okay, now guys, we will going to teach you about library, event, and project. What are all these things? So let's try to understand this using AI. Okay, so let's try to understand 3 things which are very much important for you to understand with example. So 3 concepts which we have to learn is about library, event, and project. So library, if you just talk about library, so this is like a big shelf. Okay, this is like a big shelf where you keep everything related to your video projects. Imagine it is like a large folder on your computer where you store different projects, events, and media files. For example, you could have a library named Vacation Videos 2024 where all your vacations related video projects and files are kept. So let's create one new library. Okay, so let's name it, let's say Vacation Videos 2024. Okay, on the Final Cut Pro as an action. So right now you can see, just click on this top one, which is this option you can see at the very first. Okay, you can even hover here and see the libraries. So these are the libraries. So you can just right click here and you can first of all close library. Okay, so now we don't have any library. Let's create one new library. So just go at the top menu, click on the file, click on new, click on library. Okay, so awesome. So this library, let's say we can put this as a Vacation Videos 2024, and where you want to keep this particular library. Okay, so you can just set the location. Okay, so keep it to movies only. Okay, keep it to movies only. Okay, otherwise you can even choose some other locations as well. So for example, on in case if you want to see movies, so you can just search for the movies folder, on your computer, and here it will just going to open up your movies. Okay, so let's keep it to movies. Just for an example, let's click on the save button. Okay, so now you will going to see that we have created one library. Okay, that is vacation videos 2024. So now if you will just go here and see that this is your new library, move under your movies, you can see this is the vacation videos 2024 library. You can just delete another one. Okay, like this. Okay, okay, now let's just go again to ChatGPT and learn about event. Now what is event? Within a library, events are like a small boxes where you organize your footage by theme, date or project. Think of them like albums in the photo app. For example, inside your vacation videos 2024 library, you could have an event called Paris trip, or you can even add, let's say, London trip, each containing videos clip from those specific vacation. Okay, so basically always remember that library is a big huge hub, okay, shelf, okay, where you can create one category. For example, we have created one library category of vacation videos. So inside that vacation you can have multiple things, okay, multiple category inside your vacation videos. Like you can just go to Paris trip, you can just go to London trip, you can even go to car trip, right, and so on. So let's create the event. Okay, so for example, we can just go here and inside right click here, and you can create here new event. Okay, so that is what you guys can do. So just click on the new event inside the library of vacation videos 2024. Okay, so let's name it, let's say, Paris trip. Just for an example, let's create Paris trip. Inside the library, click on OK. So now you can see that inside this library of vacation videos 2024, we have created one event of Paris trip. You can just delete this one. Okay, delete this one, which is this one. Okay, you guys can see this. Just right click here and you can just move to trash. Okay, so you guys can see that inside vacation videos 2024 we have Paris trip. Similarly, inside this same library we guys can create, let's say, London trip. So I can just go here. So that's how you guys can do. Okay, so you can just again right click on your library, click on new event, and you can just name it London trip inside the vacation videos 24 library. Now you guys can see we have got one. Okay, now if you're just going to see your vacation videos 2024. Okay, so inside this you guys can see we have two. Okay, so that's how you guys can create your events. Now let's talk about another thing, which is project. Now project you guys can create inside an event. For example, a project is where your actual editing happens. It's like a canvas in the photo editing app where you create the final picture. Inside an event, you create projects to assemble and edit your clips into a final video. For example, let's say we have created this Paris trip. Remember this Paris trip. So inside this Paris trip, you guys can have one specific project. Let's say call this Eiffel Tower visit. Okay, like this inside your Paris trip. So let's create one project. So just right click here on the Paris trip, click on new project, and inside this you guys can just put Eiffel Tower visit. Okay, it's inside the Paris trip. Let's click on the OK button. Awesome. So you guys can see that we have Eiffel Tower visit. So similarly, inside this same Paris trip, you guys can create one new project. Let's say Paris car trip. Awesome, like this in the event. Okay, and you can create as many as you want. So that's the hierarchy of Final Cut Pro. First you have to create one library. Inside that library you guys can create project, and inside that project you guys can create inside that library you guys can create your events. Okay, like this we have created two events inside library. Okay, London trip and Paris trip, and inside this particular events, we guys can create particular projects, right? So this is the hierarchy, that inside your project, inside your library, you guys can create event, and inside that event you can create the project. So idea is somehow that simple. Okay, so hope you guys have understood, and this is the hierarchy of Final Cut Pro. Now guys, before we just go ahead and upload the files to our project, okay, I just want to tell you some things which are very much important for you to understand. So maybe you want to download some video clips for practice and so on. So how you guys can do that? So it's very easy. So you guys can just search for free stock images. Okay, click on enter and you will going to find a lot many of them. For example, pixels.com is one of them. You can just download something from here. Pixabay, another website. Unsplash. So these are the three very popular websites which I use, okay, always to download the images and videos. Okay, so it's totally free. You will not going to get any copyright issues as well. So for example, let's say we have these photos here. By the way, as we have mentioned that in this folder we will going to provide you all the files and everything, but for now you can see you will going to get the option to select. Let's say we want to put the videos, and let's say I just want to put Eiffel Tower, some clips that are related to Eiffel Tower. Okay, so you can just simply go here and you can just download it. Okay, so you can just follow along with me. Otherwise you can also just go to these websites, download the clip and do the practice yourself. But the very important thing which I just want to tell you is that if you want to get the most out of this course, so I just want you guys to do practice or at least follow with me. Okay, so for example, let's say I just download this particular one, and you can see where you want to download this. So for example, I say let's do desktop. Okay, I will just save it up. So you guys will going to see in my desktop I will going to have this video downloaded, okay, which I can use for the practice in the Final Cut Pro. Okay, so this is what I just want to teach you. Okay, so maybe when you will going to open this folder, so here you guys will going to see we will going to divide this particular things, let's say beginners. Okay, so this is the beginners for very very basics. Okay, so here, okay, so it's not giving me the option. Let me just again beginners, very basic. Okay, so here we will going to provide you this file. Okay, so you can just do practice with us. Okay, so here we have provided you this file which is related to your Eiffel Tower. Okay, so let's see how you guys can upload this particular file. So you just have to select the project where you want to upload this file. Okay, so and also make sure that you select the proper event. Okay, so whether it's a London event, Paris event, or any of the event you have created. So in my case I will just go with the Paris trip with this particular Eiffel Tower visit project, and at the very top you guys will going to see we have this option of import. Okay, just follow my cursor, click on this that option, and then you guys will going to see this folder which we have given you at the very starting. Okay, so maybe when you will going to see this folder, so it will be filled with lots of stuff, but you have to select this particular option. Okay, just click on this folder and inside this particular folder you will see this file of Eiffel Tower. But the very important thing you want to know is about all these settings you are getting at the right side. So here you guys can see add to the existing event, or you can create one new event from here as well inside this library. Okay, that is the stuff you guys can see, and these are the some like analyze audio, okay, transcode, analyze video. So these are the some settings which are very much require you in the advanced level. Okay, but for now I just want you guys to make sure and follow the basic things like files. Okay, if you select this first option, copy to library, so what will going to happen, this file will be here, but there will be one copy, okay, which Final Cut Pro will going to do and store inside this library. So it will going to take extra storage, okay, for your computer. But if you select this second option, okay, so this option is very much helpful. It will not basically going to do like here you guys can see in the explanation, select to link to the files in the current location rather than copying them to the library storage location. Okay, but if you select this option, so what will going to happen, okay, just see here, copy to library one, so it will just duplicate the files and place the copies in this particular location. Okay, so that is what you guys can do. So basically this option is very much useful when you will going to have one hard drive, maybe you are just getting some footage from your external drive to your Mac. So this option is very much relevant. Okay, so that's totally depend upon the scenario which you are in. Okay, so you can just select, okay, if you are using external drive, so you can select this first option which will be more appropriate. But the second option is where you don't want to do copy because it will take some extra space on your Mac, which you actually do not want, right? So that's totally depend. Okay, so for example, if I just click on this leave files in place, I can just click on import, okay, the selected file. So here you guys can see that we have got this file over here. Okay, so this is the file you guys can see we have put inside our Eiffel Tower 1. Okay, so this is the file which we guys can import, and there is a second way. For example, I just want, let's say, for the Paris car trip, or let me just select some video related to car trip. So I'm in another website, let's say here I can just search for, let's say, car trip. Okay, click on enter button, and here you guys can see it's selected to images, so it is giving us the images. But now what we want is we want videos, so let's select the videos. Okay, and let's select the videos. I can just be more specific, like car trip in desert, just for example. Oops, wrong spelling. Okay, desert and all. So here, okay, some of the images are not available. If in case if these images are not available, so you can just search for the same thing in another website. For example, in Pixabay only, if I just select, let's say, car trip in, let's say, desert. Okay, and let's see if we get some images or not, sorry, videos and not. So okay, so we are getting some of them, so you can use. Okay, so basically it depends. Of course you guys can use your own image and all, so that's totally depends on you. So here you guys can see royalty free videos which you guys can totally use. So for example, let me just select, let's say, any one of the image. Let me just select, let's say, this image. Okay, I can select this image. I can also download this image. This option is more suitable for YouTube and all, so I will just simply click on the download button. Where you want to download, let's say in desktop, save. Okay, so we have got the second video. So do not worry, all these videos we will going to provide you. Okay, so in your folder only, so you can use this same stuff. Okay, otherwise you can also get some clips on your own and you can do practice with it. Okay, so now the second way is to do import is by drag and drop. So for example, here we have this image, so I can just drag it to uh, let's say any particular area. For example, let's say here. Okay, so you can see that in this way you guys can even do the import. So these are the two ways, okay, which you guys can just do import in your Final Cut Pro. Okay, now guys, I have provided you one more file, okay, under your that same folder, sound with audio. Okay, so you can also import that as well. Okay, so basically right now you guys can see we have three files, and you will going to notice that for every clip, whenever you are taking your cursor on any of the clip, okay, so you guys can see the preview of that clip. Okay, for example, this is the preview you guys can see. Okay, and another thing is that at the very top you guys will going to see this option called as toggle clip display between film stream and list modes. Okay, if you will just going to turn it on, so you can see the car slide. Similarly, you have this Eiffel Tower one over here. You have this sound with audio. Okay, so now what will going to happen? See, for example, if I just drag, if I just want to put this particular file at the bottom in the timeline, so I can just simply left click on my mouse or left click on my trackpad. Okay, like this, continuously press it and just move it down like this. Okay, so you guys can see in this way you guys can do this. Okay, so that's do great. So you guys can see you have put one file over here. Okay, and similarly you can put another file. For example, here you can see we have this Eiffel Tower one, so you can even drag the selected file from your videos. For example, I only want, let's say, this part to this part, so I can use I button. Okay, I for ice cream, right? So for example, I want this clip, so just press I, okay, to insert it and till which clip you want. For example, I want till this much, this part, so press O for orange. Okay, so just press O, so this file will be selected. Now if you will just same just left click and just drag it here, so only this particular area which you have selected, only it will come here. Okay, so two things I have taught you. And another thing you will going to notice that here you guys can just use your trackpad, by the way. Okay, you guys can use your trackpad to zoom in. Okay, like you do zoom in, zoom out. Okay, let me just show you guys. Okay, let me just show you in the settings. If you have trackpad, okay, on your Mac, okay, or maybe on your okay, so here we have this zoom option. Okay, so you can see this is how you have to do zoom in, zoom out. Okay, so in this way you guys can just make this clip bigger and smaller. So if I will just going to zoom in, so you guys can see in this way I can just zoom this clip and I can zoom it out. Awesome. Okay, and another thing is that if we just drag this particular clip, okay, so now you will going to see, of course you can just pause it up. Okay, so here you guys will going to notice that at the at the very bottom here you can see that we have this sound. Okay, that means this video clip has sound, and you can see the first two video clips doesn't have this wave, audio wave. That shows that these two videos don't have sound, but this video clip has sound. That's why you can see the audio waves over here. right? So this is how you guys can just drag any clip media, whether it's an image or video, to your timeline, and you can just do the editing. So basically this is the area where we will going to do the editing, and that is what we have done. I know it's a very basic thing. You can see you have just done the editing, okay? But as we will go further, we will going to discover a lot of other things which will be very much helpful for you. So if you want to play your clip, so just take your this orange line which you guys can see on my cursor. So for example, I want to play from here, okay? I will select this step here like this, and now click on the uh, space button on your keyboard, okay? Then it will going to play like this. So that's how it works, okay? Let's wait, and after this clip will going to over, it will switch to the next clip. So you can see we have done the basic editing. So you can just pause it, again click on the space button to pause that, okay? So that's how it works, and in this way you guys can just drag any video files or media files to your timeline and you can do editing, okay? So now guys, we will going to discuss some of the amazing tools we have in Final Cut Pro. So at here you will going to see this cursor tool. So here if you will just click here, so you will going to find a lot of tools like select, and the shortcut for the select is A. Similarly we have trim. So if you will select to trim, you will see it will going to change to trim, and we have many other tools over here, okay? So all are amazing tools. I will going to step by step guide you the importance of all the tools, okay? So let's first discuss with the tool trim, okay? So select, if you select if you keep to select, so that means you can just select any clip like this. You can just move the clips here and there, in front, at the end, so on, okay? So this is the basic select mode which we are in right now. Then in the second we have is called as trim tool, okay? So before using that tool, what you can do, you can also trim from your clip. So if you will just take your cursor at any of the clip, for example, if I take my cursor at the back of this clip, and if I just press right click on my mouse, so I can just drag it to left, okay? So trimming means you just make the trim, okay, or you are just making it short, okay? So that is what the trim feature is. So for example, here if I just show you here, okay, if you will play this video, so you can see the man is going at the right side, okay? Let me just show you. You can see this man is going here. So what we want is that, let's say I want only till this part. So what I can do is that I can just use the trim. So without in the select mode only you can do these tasks, by the way. So you can see whenever you take your cursor to the end of the any clip, even in the front or in back, so you can just trim that part, for example like this, okay? Now if you will going to notice, our video clip has become shorter, okay? From 35 it becomes 32. So if you will just play this, so you can see we have just trimmed that out, right? So this is what it is, okay? You can also make it long if you have trimmed it, okay, to the maximum, okay? So again you can see it's in 13, okay, it's 39 seconds, okay, the maximum, okay? Awesome. So that is the trim tool. Even you can just do something, for example, if I just trim it from the front, you can see I want this person to come here, okay? Till then I want to trim it, so I can just wait for the person to come here, okay? So I want the clip to be started from here, okay? And I do not want this front side, so I can just take my cursor at the front of the clip and I can just drag it till the target, okay? Now you will going to notice the person is coming from here, okay? And of course you guys always have to use this shortcut, okay, that is undo. You all know the command plus Z. Okay, so you can see command plus Z. If you will press, so you can just go back to the previous step. So I will press the command and Z to go to the previous step I have done. So it's like your friend who will always going to help you out if you have done some mistake. So control plus Z key is always going to help you. Okay, but here you guys can see we have learned about the trim. So it basically help us to make the clip short from the back and the front, okay, of any clip. But what is the option we have over here? You can see trim. Okay, so if you will select this, okay, so you will going to see that your cursor has changed with the trim symbol. So here what happen is that if you, let's say if you just take your clip, okay, any of the clip, so you can see in any of the clip you can just trim it. So just press the left key on your keyboard and just trim it, okay, or you can just wait, let me show you, just trim it, okay, or you can even just do something like this from the back. You can just move it, okay. So what you will going to notice will be that your duration will be same, but the part, for example, I want this person to come here, so till that I want to do the trimming. Okay, so I want the person to come till here, which you guys can see over here, okay, in the second clip. So if you were going to play it right now, so you guys can see that these guys are moving, okay. So I can just further trim that out. Okay, so you guys can see that now it will basically going to start, okay. So basically the trim will not going to change the duration of your clip, okay. You can see even if I just move it here and there, so still it will be same, okay, but it will not going to make any changes in your overall duration of your clip, okay. So that is how amazing it is, okay. So earlier the persons were waiting, and if I just go back here, so I want them to wait again, okay. So at the right side, so you can see now they will be waiting, okay, like this. So that is the trim function in your Final Cut Pro. Now let's just go with the next tool, that is the position, okay. So for example, my friends, here you guys can see to use position you can also press P on your keyboard, okay. So if you will going to notice here, if I just go to the select mode again by pressing A, okay, so I'm back to the select mode. So what will going to happen, say if I just move this clip at the top, so now automatically the another clips will going to stick with each other, okay. They will give you the magnetic effect, that means they will automatically going to connect with each other, okay. But for some reason, if you are doing some editing and you do not want that by deleting some of the clip, the overall clip will going to impact. That means you want that this third clip should be here only, okay. Even if I delete this clip, you want this clip to be in the same position. You do not want, like right now what I'm trying to do, I'm just moving it up, and you can see this third clip from this position it went to this position. So for reason, let's say if you do not want that, so how you guys can do that, okay. So for that we have to use the concept of position. So this position concept will going to do one thing. You can just move the any clip to the top like this, and you will see the blank space in your here, okay. So you can just do a lot of editing and all, so it will basically not going to impact your overall clip, okay. Okay, so you guys are understanding the power of position tool, okay. Even you can just merge it to any of the clip, okay. So for example, I want to merge it here, okay, so I can even do that. So now if you will going to notice like that, okay. So it's kind of a very powerful. So basically this is how it will really going to help you. Let me just do undo, okay. So hope you guys have understood the power of position tool. So it's kind of a tool that will not going to disturb your overall clip. So even for some reason I want to remove this clip, and right now it will become to the blank space. Okay, of course you can even delete this clip, it will become blank clip. So instead of disturbing all of them, so in this place if you want to do some edit and all, you can do that. Okay, and even you can do the trimming from here and adjust the canvas. So that's the power of position tool, by the way. Okay, now another we have is the range selection. So it's nothing but you all know that using I and O we guys have put the selection to. So same you guys can do in your clips. Okay, so for example I do not want the person waiting here. Okay, in this clip, for example, oops, sorry. Okay, okay, so here you guys can see this guys are coming from here, and I do not want them to wait here. Okay, I want them to move. Okay, um, so what we guys can do is that we guys can do the range selection. Okay, so I know that they are start to moving from this place. Okay, so I can select this to this clip I do not want. Even you can just adjust them like this. Okay, okay, so this range is selection, and I can click on delete button. Okay, and you will going to see that directly clip will going to go from here, and you will going to get the blank space. So you can just select with A. Okay, this one, and you can just delete that as well, or even you can just trim that out like this. Okay, awesome, like this. Awesome. Okay, so hope you guys are have uh, understood. Let me just make this to complete one. Okay, so hope you guys have understood the concept we have over here is of the range selection. Now we have a blade. So blade means what? It will just going to cut your clips, okay, in two parts. So for example the shortcut is B. Okay, the shortcut is B. So you can just press it out, so you will see the tool will going to change to cutter. Okay, so it's the cutter like thing. So from where you want to do the cut. So for example I want to do the cut over, let's say here. Okay, I will just left click. Okay, and you will see it will just going to give you the cutter effect like when we just do cutting. Okay, so like that it will just going to show you. So basically if you just press A to go to the selection tool. Okay, so you can see the clip will be in two parts. So this is the tool which you will always going to use a lot of times. So even when we will going to do any practical thing, so there you will going to notice that this one we will going to use a lot. Okay, we want to trim it let's say over here, so we will going to press B and put it here. So we have just converted this single clip into a 3 parts, and now we can just do the adjustment. For example I want to add something over here. Okay, or I just want to put some animation here or effect here on this particular clip. I can even do that. I can even just drag it here. Okay, if I just trim it out something, so you will going to see the cutter design will wipe up. Okay, but even if the cutter will be here, so that doesn't make any sense. So basically in nutshell you guys have understood that this blade tool will basically going to cut your clips into two different parts. You can even use the blade effect to cut the multiple clips to chop it up in different parts. Now these two are the things, that is zoom or hand. So in case if you don't have trackpad or you don't have magic mouse, so for those people this is a very great tool. Okay, zoom. So you can see, if you just press to zoom, you can just zoom out like this. Okay, you can just zoom it up and so on. So that's what you guys can do with this zooming tool. Okay, so it's kind of a very powerful tool. Okay, but I can just make it down as well. So basically, for people who want to see the clips in very zoom, so they can just click on this any clip, okay, again and again, to make it more zoom like that. Okay, so for them it's kind of useful. So if you don't have a trackpad on your Mac, or you don't have magic trackpad, so for them this tool is useful kind of. Then next we have is the hand tool. So it's again the same thing, and nothing. Okay, so in case if you don't have mouse or like that, okay, so this hand tool is helpful. It will just going to press it. Okay, you can just move the things over here and there with this catchy tool. Okay, so that is all about this thing, but we generally don't use it because we already have magic trackpad and mouse, and I think that majority of you guys have at least mouse. Okay, so so for them it's kind of a useless thing. Okay, so even if you just zoom it and if you just go to hand, so you can see with this hand tool you guys can move it here and there and nothing else. Okay, so when you will going to zoom it, just go to zoom tool, zoom it more and more like this, and then just go to hand tool by pressing H, or you can just press H, the shortcut for the hand. So you can see you can just move it here and there with the hand tool and nothing else. Okay, so that is all about the tools which we have told you here, kind of a very much useful tools, and hope you guys have understood the importance of these tools. Okay, now guys, we will going to teach you about this right settings which you guys can see over here. Okay, so these are all the settings we are going to talk about right now. Okay, so at the very here you guys can see we have this setting. Okay, so basically it will going to help you to customize your Final Cut Pro. Okay, if you will click on this setting, so here you will going to notice we have a lot many option, but before that we have this option. So basically it's a zoom option which you guys have seen over here. Remember, zoom option, using your trackpad you can just zoom it and zoom out the clips. So the same thing you guys can do it from here, just notice it. Okay, like that. Okay, so this is the option, and the second options are also very good. So it will just going to change the look of how your Final Cut Pro will going to look in the timeline. So let's start with the first one. Okay, so you can see right now it's selected to this one, but let's just select the first one. So what will going to happen? So you guys can see this is the audio waves. So you can see here the up and down bars. Okay, so these are the audio waves. Okay, and the black which you can see is the your this video clip. Okay, video clip, and this is the audio. So this is what it denotes. So basically this black area denotes this video preview which you guys can see here, and the bar which you can see over here denotes the audio. Okay, so if I will select the first option, so you will going to see the video preview will going to off and only the audio will going to show. In the second option, the preview and audio will going to show more. So basically the video preview will going to show less, smaller, and the audio will going to show more. Okay, more visible. And the third one is, I guess, the medium. Okay, so the medium video and audio. And then we have this one. So here the video will going to show more bigger and audio will going to show smaller. Then at the second last we have only video. Okay, so it will just going to show you the video preview, and the last one it will just going to combine all of them. Okay, but let's take with this one only. Okay, and then we have this option which you guys can see. So it will just make the clips on your timeline bigger and smaller. Okay, let me show you like this. Okay, and nothing else. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, so according to your comfort, you can just adjust the height of your clips and all. Okay, and these are some options like angels, clip rules, lane headers, duplicate ranges. We basically don't need it right now. We will going to discuss about them in later on. Okay, awesome. Then we have this option of snapping. Okay, so snapping is like touching path. Okay, so for example, let me show you. For example, if you just on this snapping, so right now you guys can see that I can just take the cursor anywhere like this. Okay, but if you will going to turn on this snapping, okay, so what will going to happen? See, at every wherever you will going to have cuts, so it will just going to stick. Okay, it will just going to restrict it to move freely. Okay, so basically snapping will going to denote that there is some cut. If you want to utilize it for something, you can utilize it. Okay, even if I just do one thing, for example, if I just put, let's say, I guess let's say blade. Okay, if I put blade here. Okay, now if I just go to select by press A, so here also now it will going to snap. So basically it will going to restrict in every point where they will be cut. Okay, like that. Okay, and you can try it yourself. You will not going to feel it until unless you try with me. Okay, then you will going to see the difference. So be practical, don't just watch the lectures, just try it out, then only you will going to understand. Okay, so this is the snapping power. Okay, which you guys can even utilize. Awesome. Okay, um, and here you guys can see we have this option called as turn basically we call it as a skimming option. So right now you can see that if I will going to tap, then only this line will going to move. But if you will going to make it on, okay, like this, so you can just move. You will see the red line which is moving through my cursor, and if I select there, so the point will going to stick here. So this is the very useful thing. And what I will going to suggest you guys to make this one on, and also make sure that you also on this snapping option. Okay, these are two very important settings which you have to make sure that it's on. Okay, now one more few things which I just wanted to tell you. So here you guys can see we have this postcard over here. So let's do some effect. Okay, so what I can do is that I can just go at the top in this audio option, and from here you guys will going to see a lot of audios, okay, which you guys can use. But let's search for something. So you can just search for car, so you will going to get all the car related effects. Okay, for example, you want police siren, just turn it on. Okay, so you guys can see the police siren and so on. Let's just go with, let's say, auto. Okay, so you can just play, and whatever you feel comfortable, you can just use that. We can just go ahead, let's select this one. Okay, there are plenty of them. Let's select this one. Okay, so I'm liking this one. So what I can do is that I can select that and drag it at the bottom. Okay, awesome. So you can see it will just going to play. Okay, so car is going. Even you can select this if you don't want. Let's select something known as car, which will be more better, I guess. Let's go with, okay, this feels good. I can just drag it over here like this. Awesome. Okay, so this is what you guys can do, by the way. Okay, So you can see that this is the car passing. Okay, so I can just even make it here like that. Okay, so now in the snapping option, you guys can see if I just put one more audio here. So basically, Final Cut Pro allows you to add multiple layers. So for example, let's say if you want to eat burger. So what burger makes very much tasty? First you put the bread, then you put cheese, then you put, let's say, chicken, then you put onions and all, and so on. So basically the multiple layers make anything very much tasty, okay, like a burger. So similarly, if you just add something more, so for example we have added this car layer, okay, which is making our video very much interesting. But let's go ahead and search for something known as wind, because I can see that this is the area of mountains and all, so I can expect some wind noise effect. Okay, and let's see and play some of that. Okay, wind, not this one. Okay, so let's go with the wind 4 is working great. So I can just also drag it here to the video clip. Awesome, like this. Okay, so now you guys can see that we have two videos in the form of layers. So this will make this video clip very much interesting. So just play this. Okay, so that is what it makes it interesting. And also if you will going to notice that I want this video to be here. So using the snap option, what I can do is that I can just take it here, I can select this audio here, and then I can put the cutter. Okay, so for example it's here, and then I can just press, let's say, B. I can press B on this part, and I can just put the blade. Okay, so I can so press A button to go to the select mode, press this. Okay, click on delete button. Now you can see. Okay, awesome. So that is also so much interesting feature, right? And then we guys do have this option called as solo selected item. So you can see right now I can see the both sound effect. I can see the sports car passing, and the second one is the wind one. Okay, so if I just go and select with, let's say, this option. Okay, but before that you have to select which effect you want. So for example, if I just want to edit the one audio and I want to see the effect of it. So for example, I only want to see the effect of a sports car. So I can select this audio, I can just go here and I can click on this particular solo selected item, which you can see the headphone icon. Now you will see automatically other audios will be turn to gray. Okay, that means they are not selected. Now I cannot learn that except this one. So let's play it. So you guys can see with this option, so you guys can check any specific audio. So maybe when you will going to do some multiple editing with multiple audios, so at that time, in case if you want to analyze one audio only, okay, you want to just analyze the one audio clip, so in that particular case this setting is very much useful. Okay, but let's turn it off. So now you can see again all the audio are visible over here. Okay, so this is what the option is, and this option which you guys can see, turn audio skimming on and off. So this option will only going to work when this option will be on. Okay, so if you turn off this option, so automatically that option will be turned off. So to use this option, this main video skimming option should be on. So what video skimming do? It basically help us to take our cursor here and there. Okay, so but if you will just going to turn on the audio one, so you guys can see the okay, let me just make it on. Okay, so you guys can see it will only going to focus on audio like this. Okay, it will basically going to give more emphasis to the voice so we can analyze it, but it makes it very much irritating, so we generally keep it off. Okay, only videos are on, video skimming is on. Okay, so that is the option you have to make sure that do. So in importance to important settings, always make sure that this snapping and this skimming option should always be on. Okay, and it will really going to help you out. Okay, hey guys, now we will going to talk about transactions. Okay, so it's a very interesting thing now what transactions are. So basically it's a effect. Okay, so you will going to find it on any video which you watch on YouTube. So it's a very common and many people use it to make their video very much amazing, right? So to enable the transactions, you just have to go here. Okay, you will see this icon at the very last. You can see this one. Okay, so you just have to click here on this one and the complete transaction list will going to show up here. Okay, and you can see there are plenty of categories and like 360 blurs if you want some kind of a blur effect, dissolve effect, and so on, dynamic lights, movements, objects, clones. Okay, and stylist vibes. So all are these transactions which are very much amazing. So Apple will going to provide you by default a lot many of them which are sufficient, and you can see total there are 125 items. That's pretty good. Okay, I guess so. Okay, so if you want to see the effect, so you can just take your cursor to any of the transactions, and from the starting you guys can see how it will going to perform before deploying them to your clips. Okay, and I will also going to show you how you guys can do that as well. So you guys can see, okay, this is how the transactions for this one look, circle one look like this. Okay, this blur one will going to look like this, and so on. So we have a lot many of them, by the way. Okay, you can even search for some transactions like, let's say, lens. We have lens flare. Okay, so this is what we guys can even use. So if you just go here to where you want to edit. Okay, so you guys can add, for example, we can add anywhere. Okay, so anywhere it will just going to show you this yellow line. So this yellow line will only going to appear when you will going to have this this skimming on, then only you can put the transactions there. Okay, even you can put that anywhere you want. For example, before lens, let's just go ahead and let me show you with the basic one. Okay, so for example, if you just go with, let's say, movements. Okay, so let's just go with the movements one, and we have a lot many transactions. So for example, we have this one. Okay, so you just have to drag it to the break path. So you can see you can just edit anywhere you want. So wherever you can edit, it will just going to show you the option to edit like this. Okay, like this. Okay, even you can add at very back as well as here and so on, and you can just zoom it out your clips little bit more like this. Okay, so you can see it in more detail. So for example, if I just drag it over here, let's say. Okay, so you can see this type of pop-up will going to do. So it's nothing but it has a very simple and clear cut solution. You just have to click on create transactions and this will be added. Okay, so you can see, okay, like this. Okay, so basically transactions will basically going to give you some effects on your video clips like this. Okay, so this is how you guys can use different transactions, and even you can just put this blade. Okay, so just press B and you can just put the blade. For example, I can put the blade here, and I can just, let's say, search for, let's say, anyone. Okay, I can also search for lens. Okay, it's not showing, by the way. Okay, let's just go ahead with this one. There was also, okay, let me just go to all, and just from here just make, okay, lens flare. So you can just put that in your in between the blades as well. Just click on the A to go to the select option, and just drag it like this. Okay, so you can see this is how it will going to look. So this is the pretty interesting, and you can see if you will just going to click on these transactions. Okay, so you guys can even see how these transactions are working. Okay, so you can just see, like for example, we are in lens flare one. Okay, so you can see the complete setting about this transaction. So you just have to click on the transactions, and then you guys will going to see at the right all the settings related to that. Okay, so for example, if you just adjust it, to something like here, you can see. Okay, so you can even adjust this. Okay, so let me show you guys. So you guys can see at the center start. Okay, you guys can just adjust it, so you can see this lens is moving here and there. So similarly, you guys can adjust this. Okay, for example, I want to show it to this side. You can also put that in the end as well, where it will going to end like that, and so on. So that's how you guys can even adjust the clip, and it's all about you can see no one is champion in anything. Okay, you just have to try. You can just use different transactions, just try it, put it. Okay, and see how it's performing, and go there and select the settings related to that transactions. Okay, just move it here and there, and see how your clips are looking. Okay, and on that basis you guys can decide whether the transactions which you have deployed is useful for you or not. Okay, so you can even make any transactions trim. Okay, for example, if you move to left, so basically what you are doing now is that you are making your transactions very fast. You can see the transactions moved very fast. Even you can expand it. Okay, now your transactions will going to look slower like this. You can see. Okay, so these are all the transaction settings which you guys can put in your clips to make it more interesting. There are a lot many of them. Just try to put each one and see how it's performing. Okay, even you can see it in the preview before deploying that these transactions will going to give you this type of effect, and then on that basis you guys can decide which transactions to use on. Okay, so that is what I just wanted to tell you about transitions. Now guys, we will going to teach you the new concept of timing and speeding. Okay, so basically you can speed your clips, you can lower your clip speed. So this is the effect it will going to show up. Okay, so first of all you have to select on which clip you want to apply. Okay, or you can even select the selected. For example, I want that these guys are here, right? So I want that they to from this point, which you guys can see, from this point I want them to go faster. Okay, till this point. So I can use the range selection. Okay, so remember R is the shortcut for the range selection, so make sure you know about these shortcuts. It will really going to help you out. Okay, so I will going to press R, then I will going to get the range selection option. So from this point to, let's say, this point. So this is the point where I want. Okay, let me just show you. Let's say this point. Okay, so I want that this particular clip to go faster. Okay, And so to do that, by the way, you just have to press shift and R. Okay, you can just press shift and R. Otherwise, what you guys can do is that you guys can just go here, okay, and from this option you guys can make the selected path. This is the selected path, right? So what you guys can do is that you can make it slow by 50, 25, 10%, faster by this much options. You can make it normal as well, okay. um, that means back to the normal, okay, which is it right now. Okay, so let's make it small. So I can make it 25% small, so you can see the clip has become 25% off, and here you can see some dotted lines. Let me just make the screenshot. So if you will just going to play this video, so you will going to see the video will going to lag, because you can see right now it's in rendering period. You can see here this is the point, okay, the dotted line which you guys can see. So basically Final Cut Pro is rendering this clip, okay. And after it will going to render this clip, this will become stable, okay. So according to your computer, the speed it will going to render, okay. So it's taking this much of time to render your clip, you can see, okay. So this will going to take some of time. So basically, until unless your clip doesn't remove that, okay, this point dotted lines, that means Final Cut Pro has not 100% implemented the clip. Now you can see that dot has gone. That means this effect is now 100% implemented, okay. So if you will going to play it right now, okay, where we have applied here, right? So now without any glitch, you can see it's performing great, okay. So make sure it's very much important that whenever you do any changes, so you will going to see this type of dot, which you guys can see over here. From this point you guys can see to this point. So it shows that whatever changes you have made to the Final Cut Pro, the changes has not been implemented 100%, okay. So if you try to preview your video, okay, if you try to preview this video, so you will not going to see the performance or the changes you have made very much effectively, okay. So to make it that means to make your edit or effects implemented, wait for this dotted line to disappear. So when it will going to disappear, that means that now whatever changes, whatever edits, animations and transitions which you have added to your video clip, it's now added successfully. Then you can preview it, and then you will see it will going to work more fine, right? So that is what I just wanted to teach you over here. So this is the path, right? This is the normal path. Right now I have just undo it, okay. So we are back to the normal path, okay. But let's go and make it little bit faster. So you can see we have make it faster. Again you will going to see this dotted line. So if I just try to see this path, you will not going to see it, it's successfully implemented, okay. So this will successfully implemented only when um, this dots will going to disappear, okay. So it's not like that you have to wait for it to disappear. You can still work, okay, that doesn't matter. But if you want to select the selected part where you have made the timing changes, you can select that. For example, this is the normal one, okay, and the clip we have to make the clip which you have make faster, okay, which is this one. You can see you have make it faster by 2x, okay, twice faster. So you can select that, okay. So this is basically the clip that we have changed to make it faster, okay. So that's how it works. You can apply with normal, so this clip will become to the normal speed which was earlier, okay. Similarly you can make it fast, normal and so on. Even you can just do custom. So when you will see the custom, so from here you can just make it change with more options, but we don't have to go with right now with these options, okay. Okay, So now let's just select this one, and from here what I will going to suggest you guys to go here, and here you guys will going to see the video quality. Okay, so if you want to make your changes very much effective, maybe let's say we have applied, let's say, slower motion of 50%. Okay, so now you can see this clip. If you will tap here, so this part, okay, when you will click on slow, so this part has become slower. But if you want to make it more smooth and soft, so you can just do one thing. You can just go here, and after applying this, you can also choose this option of let me just show you guys. You can just go here, okay, to video quality, and you can just use this frame blending. And also, do not worry about all these options. We will going to talk about all of them in later on. Okay, let's try with the frame bleeding. Okay, so this will going to make your clip more smoother and softer. Okay, so let's wait for this dot to disappear. That means Final Cut Pro is actually applying the changes you have made. Okay, so now that dot has been disappeared. Now from this point I want to play it. You can see now it's become more smooth and more effective. Right, so these are all the things, and this is what I just wanted to tell you, how you can speed up any part of your clip or any clip. Okay, and how you can play on with the timing and all. Now guys, we will going to talk about transformation. So this is the setting which we also require. Okay, and this is very much interesting. So to use this, first of all, you just have to import a new file. So for example, we have, let's say, if we just import this one. Okay, if I put it over here. Okay, let's also try to import this second file as well. Okay, and let's see if we can upload this as well or not. Okay, so this will create problem. Okay, so let's leave it. So we have put this file. Okay, so you just have to select this file. Okay, and wherever you want to do the transformation. For example, this is how it's looking. So for example, if I just press range. Okay, so from the range selection I select this part. Okay, so this is the part where I want to do some edits. Okay, so for example, just go to transform, click on the transform option, and then you guys will going to see these dots. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 at the top. If you don't see it, try to reduce it to 50%. Okay, so you will better going to see. Let me just increase to 100. Okay, 100% will be too much. 50%. Okay, so you can see this is the file. Okay, so from here what you guys can do is that you can just put some transformations. For example, you can just zoom it up. Okay, like this. So if you will add this transformation, so see what will going to happen. Okay, wait, let me just see it. So basically this is how it will going to look. You can even just drag it. Okay, like this. So basically, okay, let me just do one thing. Let's break them. Okay, from here to, let's say, this part, and here we will going to apply it. Oh, sorry, let's click on A and select this file. Okay, and for this particular file we can just use transform. Okay, so what will going to happen, just see. For example, I have zoom in. Now just see. So you can see basically it will just going to zoom in. Similarly, you can just zoom it out like this. Let's see, you can see you can zoom it up. Okay, and there are plenty of things which you guys can do. You can also make it little bit tilt like this. Okay, or let's make it little bit tilt. Okay, like this. So now see. Okay, so this is the transformations which you guys can do with your video clips. And not only this, there are other options as well. For example, this is about transformation. Okay, But along with the transformations, you guys can do a lot many things. For example, you can also transform or crop it. Okay, so for example, you can just crop it, and this is the file, right? Let me just select this. Okay, let's crop it. Okay, so I will select this option, this one, right? So I will select this one, then you will going to see we will going to get the crop option. Okay, so we can even just crop any file like this. Okay, we can just do it from here as well like this. Okay, and then you guys are good to go, and just play it, and then you guys can see the file has been cropped. Okay, this one is cropped, right? So this is what you guys can also do, and you can also trim it. For example, if you want this part, this part, okay, and you can even show some, multiple clips as well. For example, I can just move it over here. Okay, and what you guys can do, you can also add one more file over here. Okay, so let's try to add some file if we can. Okay, okay, so what we guys can do is that, let me just take some clip. Maybe let's take this clip. uh, okay, sorry, let's take this clip. Okay, so you can just put it at the top, and you can just make sure that you just turn on this one. Okay, so basically you just have to go here, and you can just press B, cut that, select, sorry, uh, click on A button, select this and delete it. Okay, so now you will going to see that this file has been basically placed by this one. You can see like this. Okay, so basically it's not like that your bottom file has been disappeared. Okay, it's like the effect you might have seen that when some people talk, okay, and let's say they tell YouTube. Okay, so this is their main clip and they're talking, and you might have seen that in their video there are some animations at the top. Okay, so you can add multiple animations on your video. Okay, so now how it works, for example, if I select this, if I go here, and if I will just crop it, okay, I will select this file, let's make it to half. Okay, let's make this particular file half. Okay, uh, and let's try to move it here. I don't know why it's okay, let me just move it to here only. Okay, so you can also add that thing over here. For example, if you select this, so from here also you can just crop it. Let's crop it little bit. Okay, awesome, till, okay, let's crop till this much. So now you guys can see, you can show two videos here. Similarly, you can just make it half. You can even just move it here like this, click on the second file, let's move it here. Okay, so this is the animations which you guys can also do. So now you can see the two files are merged. Okay, so same you can do with that. Okay, so this is about cropping effect, which you can also add to your clips, right? So this is the trimming effect which we have told you. We have also told you how you can crop it, so you can just crop it more like this. Okay, and you are good to go. For example, we have cropped this much. Now we can just move it, sorry, let's just go to trim now. Let's move it here on this side. Okay, and let's select this file, and we can just move it to here. Okay, so in this way you guys can totally use trimming and cropping. Okay, so basically trim will going to just trim it from every side, and using crop you can just crop the sides. Okay, and this is what it is. Let me just delete this. Okay, so now let's make it to the full one. Awesome. Okay, so basically what trim will going to do, you can just trim it here and there, okay, like that. But crop can also just do the cropping with the same one, and you can just move it here and there like this. So this is the cropping. And the very next point we have is the key buttons. Okay, so now what key buttons is, so when you will going to turn on the key buttons, what will going to happen, there will be one starting point and there will be one ending point. Okay, so right now our clip is looking like this. So this is how it will going to start, and we want that when the video will going to come to end, you just have to zoom it, okay, to this particular island, okay, like this. So if you will just going to notice, if I will going to play, so you can see it will just going to zoom in to that part. So this is the very interesting feature we have regarding, key buttons, okay, which is kind of a very much useful. Okay, so this is what it is. So you can see here the starting point, so it will going to start it here, and where you want to zoom in, so you can just zoom it, sorry, you can just keep the start there, and you can just zoom that to any particular point. Okay, just click on the end and you can just zoom it up. So basically it's very much useful when you want to focus something. Maybe you have some video, and maybe you want to do some kind of a zooming effect, okay, on that particular point. So you can use this one, it will start from here and end by zooming to this particular, let's say, position, let's say to here. Okay, so that's how we have done it. Now just see. Okay, so it will just zoom it to that particular place where you are ending it. Okay, you can even make it bigger like this and so on. So this is the effect which we are talking about, known as key buttons. Okay, so we have talked about transform, we have talked about crop, and now let's talk about, let's talk about the this option of distort. Okay, so what it will basically going to do, it will just going to provide you this type of effect where you can just play around it. So some editors use this functionality. Okay, they just make their clip to move something like this and that, like that. Okay, so for that it's kind of a very much useful like this, you can see. So this is the Discord one. So some editors just create some type of animation. So for them it's they use basically this distort option. We generally don't use it a lot, but many people do. So it's totally up to you if you want to provide some spicy thing in your editing. So let's play it, and you can see that's how it will going to look like. Okay, so this is what I just want to tell you about this one. Okay, let's reset it, okay, to the original one. Also let's reset this to the original one. Okay, so now this is the original one with the key buttons. So let's select this. Okay, let's reset it and done it. Okay, let's talk about this clip. Okay, and let's talk about the crop. Okay, I just wanted to show you something. So guys, if you will going to see here, we have this clip over here. Okay, we have here key buttons. So what you guys can do is that while you do some transformation, let's make it and reset it. Okay, so it's reset. Now let me just go to reset, means it will just going to take your clip to the original mode. Okay, and nothing else. Let's click on the done. Okay, but what we want here is to I just want to do something. So for example, I have just make it zoom like this. Even you can just make it to round. See what I have done, I have clicked on this one, this last dot at the bottom right side, and I just drag it to, let's say, left side. So what will going to happen, it will just going to backside your video. Okay, so you can see like that. Okay, so and nothing else. So these are the things which you can also do. Okay, like this. So now you will see the original. This one we have just flip it. Okay, you can see using the transform. So this is all I just want to tell you about the transformation, crop and distort. Now guys, let me just teach you one new concept we have here in the transform. So let me just take this car clip at the very end again. Okay, so for example, if I just want to put some animation, so for example, if I just press B, I will just going to cut down this part, and then what I want is that I will again just going to cut down this part, let's say. Okay, so now for example, if I click on A button to select, okay, go to the select mode. Now for example, if I just select this and if I just go to transform, okay, and what you want to transform, let's say I just want to transform, okay, this clip. Okay, so I will just going to put the cursor here, okay, and I can just zoom it up, okay, like this. Okay, so basically this is what effect I will going to get. See, it will immediately going to zoom in. Okay, so this is the bad effect. And let's say if I just play here, and for example in this clip I want it to move to this path here, okay, like this. Okay, now just see, first it will going to zoom that immediately, and then it will take to the very left side, sorry, right side immediately. So this is what you guys can do with the transform. Okay, but but to avoid this, okay, to save the time and to make this clip more interesting, right now you can see it's just zooming immediately, so that we do not want, right? So what we want is the more buttery effect. Okay, so I will just going to put this car clip again. I will what I can do is that for now I just want to zoom it. Okay, so just put it over here. Okay, and now what you have to do is that you just have to make sure the transform is on. Okay, first select this, make sure the transform is on. Okay, wait, okay, now let's select this, okay, and make it on. And now you will going to see at the top, you will going to see the option of a keyframe. Okay, so you just have to tap here. Okay, and after you will going to tap here what you want to do. For example, I just want to play the video, and here in this point I want that from this point it zoom it. Okay, so what I can do is that I can just put it like this, and I can make it zoom like this. Okay, awesome. Okay, so you guys can see that we are getting this thing. So now see the magic. Okay, now after it will going to play, then at this point I want that this clip to go at the very side. Okay, so I want it to move to very side like this. Awesome. So we have put three keynote. First it will going to zoom, and then it will go to the left. Now just see. Okay, I will just going to run. Now just see the magic. Now slowly it will just going to zoom in, then it will just going to move to the very right like this. Okay, so this is the keyframe settings. Okay, you can see, and you can just tweak it the way you want. Okay, so first it will be a bit complicated for you to understand, but slowly you will going to understand that. Okay, let's do another practice. Let me just delete this clip. Let's take some another clip. Okay, let's remove this one. Okay, let's take this one. Okay, I will just put it over here. And now what I want is that I want it to zoom it first here, and then I want it to zoom up here. Okay, so let's just see, without without this setting, without this keyframe setting, the problem is that, for example, if I just do here, if I will just press B, and if I cut down this path, and if I just cut down, let's say this path, let me just also cut down this one. Okay, so basically now, for example, if I press A to go to the select mode, and if I select this clip, Now for example, if I want to do the same thing, so it will be very complicated. I will just select this clip, I will make it to, let's say, transform, and I will just going to zoom it out like this. Okay, and when it will just come to this clip, I want that to come to this path at the very bottom here. Okay, but so see, the if I just play it without the keyframe setting, so this is how it will going to look. You will not going to find it, very much interesting, right? So this is the problem. Now let's use the same keyframe settings and see how it will going to work. Okay, so let's get this same file. I guess this was the same file. Let's upload it. Now I will again just going to play it. Now I want in this part to zoom it. Okay, so to do this, just select this path. Okay, and click on this keynote option over here like this. Okay, so the keyframe is added. Okay, now what you have to do is that you just have to play it, proceed. So from this point to this point, I want it to get zoom over here. Okay, so what I will going to do, I will just going to directly zoom it. Okay, like this, and I want it to zoom it here. Okay, and when I just play it here, and then in this point I want it to zoom it at the very right. Okay, here. Awesome. Okay, so now just see. So first it will just going to zoom that Iceland, and then it will take here. Now let's play it here. Just see, it will slowly going to zoom it, and then it will just going to take it here. So it was better, because earlier what we were doing, we were doing cutting, okay, of the clip, and it is showing instantly the effect. But right now it will just going to zoom in the most amazing way like this. It will just going to give the zoom animation effect, which is very much great. So for this purpose, we use this option of keyframe. It's kind of a same like which we have shown you earlier, okay, in the crop setting. But in this key buttons, what used to happen is that we only get the option. For example, if I just take the cursor here, and in the key buttons, you will only going to get the option at the one time. For example, you want to start from here and you just want to end here. Okay, like this. So now see it. Okay, okay, let me just first of all cut this clip. Okay, let me just do the reset. Okay, first it will just go here, and now let me just press B, and let's cut down this clip. And here let me just show you guys with that option. Okay, just enable the transform, and here what we want is that we want to do crop. But in keybuttons, what will going to happen, it will only going to work in one animation. It will just going to start here. Okay, and then we want it to end, let's say, in this point. So see, oops, okay, let's do it. So it will just going to start here, and then at this point it will just going to zoom it up. Okay, so that's how it will basically going to put. Okay, you will not going to see that much effect of key burns. Okay, so basically what the problem is here, basically it will just going to have one start and end. But in our this case, we were zooming it two times, one this side and then this side. Okay, so it's only possible using this function of a keyframe, not with the can burns. Okay, so this is what I just want to tell you, and hope you guys have understood the idea. You will never going to use key burns a lot. You will always going to use this keyframe settings. Okay, and almost 95% of the people only use this, not these can buns. Okay, so this is what I just want to tell you, and hope you guys have understood the concept of keyframe and how to use it. Now guys, we will going to talk about text. Okay, so in case if you don't know about text, so basically text are here. Okay, so in case if you don't see, so below your these three options, basically below this text you will going to see the option of a titles. So just scroll it down, and then you will going to see 3D type of titles, and you can just hover on any of this title and you can see the animation it has. Okay, similarly we have 361 like this, we have 3D cinematic one. Okay, which is also a very great. Okay, and similarly we have built-in and built out. For example, we have simple static one as well, so basically it has some animation. We do also have some static one, for example this one. Okay, it's almost a static, especially static you will going to see in the bumper, and you will going to find the basic title. Okay, it will not going to do anything. So similarly you guys can just preview all the different types of text we have, okay, on the Final Cut Pro. So for example, if I just play the video, okay, so if I want to just put something interesting, so for example I can just go here and let's put this one. Okay, so I will just drag it like this and I will going to put it over here. Okay, awesome. So that's how you guys can put the titles to your Final Cut Pro. Of course you can make it small. So to make it small, first make sure you select this and go back to the title, and you will see two arrows, okay, left and right, and in middle you will see this line. Okay, so that means you are good to go. Now just left click and you can just make it bigger, smaller, the title like this. Okay, so you can just extend it. For example, I want the title to till this only here, as till here only. Okay, so just play it. Okay, and you can also grab your title, left click, and you can just put it wherever you want to, like this. Okay, similarly you can just click on this left side and you can just make it to very left if you want to. Okay, till the end. So these are all the options you have in your Final Cut Pro regarding the text. Okay, and if you select any text, so according to the text in the inspector, that means in the very right area, you will see the settings related to that. For example, if you just click on the first one, basically first and second is kind of very much important. Rest, last three are not that much important, by the way. Okay, so if you just see in the first menu, so you guys can see we have this built-in. So basically right now what's happening, you can see this is how the animation is happening. Okay, a blur is coming out, so that is because of built-in. If I will just untick it, now see, it just come directly, okay, without any animation. Okay, so basically built-in means at the very starting it will show you some animation. Okay, and similarly at the very last, if you play it, you can see it is getting disappear. Why? Because here we have here. Okay, so in case you can stop it if that text has some animation, right? And similarly you can see and change the font one. For example, if you just select the font, okay, let me just, okay, okay, so for example we are here, so you can just change the line 1. Line 1 is the title and line 2 is of course your subtitle. Okay, so line 1 you can just change the font to, let's say, anything. Let's say handwriting one or anything. Okay, let's say this hopper and so on. Okay, so you can just select any one of them. So let's select this one. Okay, so you can see title 1 I have changed to the handwriting one, and similarly for title 2 you can just do whatever changes you want to. Similarly, for the title one, you can just change the color. So for example, you get this pop-up, you can just drag it and drop it through your cursor, okay, and you can just change the color. So you can see whatever color you will going to change, it will all going to pop up here. Similarly, you can just click on this second one, and from here you can just choose on the basis of gray share, okay, or you can just take this keynote and whatever color you want according to it. For example, I want, let's say, this color, this pinkish one, okay. So I can basically select that, and you will going to see my title is now with that same thing. So that is what you guys can do, and we have similarly others options as well. So for example, let me just take with the green color just for an example, okay, and so on. You guys can just change the size, okay. For example, I want to increase the size more, so I can, let's say, make it to 200, okay. So you can see line 1 title has been increased, okay. Similarly, if you want to increase with the title 2, you can do that, okay. And you can also make the line 2, you can make it to bold and so on. So these are all the functionality you get, okay. So these are the basic things which you guys can understand, by the way. And in the second line, we do have this alignment. If you make it to left, right, okay, so on, okay. So for line 1 and line 2, we have different things. You can just increase the line spacing, okay, and so on. You can just increase the all all cap size and so on. So these are all the things you get, and you can also enable the 3D shadows as well, okay. Let's enable it and so on. And if you want your title to glow, so just click on this glow option, okay. So now your title will also going to glow, okay, more. So these are the some things, okay, regarding that text. And rest, these are all the things which we do not require, by the way. Basically, you can just do some basic things like you can just increase the opacity to make it kind of invisible type and so on, okay. So these are all the options which we basically do not require anytime. Very rarely we use it, but in general we only use the first and second option, okay. And this is what about title. Now the very important thing is that how we can edit the title. For example, if I just click on the title, and if I go here, I can just write here, I can just double tap, okay, and I can just write here car, okay. And in the subtitle, I can make it to, like, let's say, car trip, okay. Click on enter. Sorry, just move with your cursor to anywhere at the outside, and you will see now it will change like this, okay. So that's all about the title and how you can use the titles, okay, in your Final Cut Pro. Also guys, there are something like about text. I have told you everything, but there are some text which doesn't have any effect. Like, let's drag this basic title, okay. You can of course shrink it like this, okay. And here also you can select the range selection. So from this path to, let's say, this path I want, okay. And so that's how you guys can do. And let's say delete it. So that's how the range and all things will also going to work. But here you will going to find one thing. If I just go to the A mode, selection mode, so here you, sorry for the background voice, but here you guys can see that here we basically don't have such things, okay. You can see there is no parameters. So this some titles have parameters, okay, when, especially when they have some animations, but simple bumper and opener like this doesn't have, with the basic one doesn't have so much control, okay. So this is what I just wanted to tell you as well, okay. Now guys, we will going to talk about export. So at the very left side you can see the option of a import, and similarly very far right side you will see the option to export, okay. So basically here you guys can see that before we just talk about the export options, we can also view this particular thing in more in depth. Okay. And one more thing, basically if you, let's say, select text, and if you will double click here, okay, so Final Cut Pro will going to provide you the space. Okay, so basically if you even select this part, okay, so basically the thing is that see, Final Cut Pro is very much spacious, okay, and it will just going to provide you more area for customization. So in whatever area you are working, and if you think that I want more space, like here in the text, if you just double click, okay, so it will just going to disappear, and similarly if you will just going to double click, it will just going to open it again. Okay, so the purpose is of the Final Cut Pro is to just provide us the space. Okay, but let's leave for now. But what we can do is that we can also view on the basis of various things, like by default it is selected to the better performance. Okay, so that this preview which you are seeing right now can provide you the better performance. So whatever editing we are doing right now, okay, so all this editing which we want, if we want it should be in better performance, that means whatever we are doing, so it should show everything in very better performance. So for that, this option is great. You can also go with the better quality as well, so it will show you in more particular better quality and so on. But let's just go with the better performance itself. Okay, so these are all the few things which we have, by the way, okay, in the view. But let's just directly talk about the export, and you all know that we can also view in the full view. Okay, and you will going to get the controls where you want to see. Basically this is how the output will going to look like. Okay, let me just again make it to minimize. Okay, now let's talk about the export option. If you will click here on the export, so first one is the DVD. Okay, so if you want for the DVD devices, you can. Second is the export file, so it will just going to give you the highest better quality. Okay, and similarly we have Apple devices, so maybe if you want to go with the 720 quality, 1080p quality and 4K quality, so you can select, and on the basis of the social platforms also you can select that. Okay, so basically like YouTube and so on. Okay, so these are the export options. Okay, so you can just export it, and after you will going to export your particular file, you can see the estimated, you guys can see the quality and all, and you guys can just go ahead in the settings, and from here you guys can change the format. If you want to export only video, so you can do without audio, so you have to select this. But if you want both video and audio, you can select these options. Okay, source code for now just make it by default. Resolution 1920 to 1080 is very normal, because that is what basically videos of YouTube basically accept. And for some tutorials if you want to create, so for everything this 1920 to 1080 videos are very much recommendable. Okay, and so on, and you can then just click on the next button, and you can just export your video. Okay, you can just name it whatever you want, where you want this exported file to be in, you can select that, and you can just click on the save button, and you can just export your file. So it's very simple and very easy to export any media or any video editing which you have done in Final Cut Pro very easily. Okay, so let's do one thing, let's export it. Okay, export file. By the way, you can see the preview as well. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, Paris car trip, select the location, click on save. Now you will going to notice at the very right side here you will see one circle. Okay, so that will basically going to show that your file is getting export. and because my computer is very fast, my Mac is very fast, so it has exported very quickly. Okay, so this is the video which we were saying. Okay, so it's basically very powerful. You can see it just exported 3 minutes video so quick, right? So this is how you guys can export any video in Final Cut Pro. So now guys, we will going to talk about this part of effects. Okay, how you can put the effects. Okay, so basically I will just going to show you some effects, but the thing is that you can use a lot of them. Okay, so for example, I have provided you this old TV one. You can just import it. Okay, and you can just put it in your storyline like this. Awesome. This will how it will going to look. So let's make it let's first select it. Okay, let's first select this. Let's make it to transform, and now what I can do is that I can just drag it like this. Awesome. So after we will going to do this, what we can do is that let's say we can put some video. For example, let's take this car video. Okay, I will just put it over here. Let me make it by the way some short. Okay, let me just drag it or trim it till this part. Awesome. Similarly, let me just trim it to this part. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So what now we can do is that let me just do one thing. Let me just increase it. Let me just do the shot from the front. Awesome. Little bit more. Okay, and let me completely fill this. Okay, so now here what we guys can do is that we can put effects. So for example, if I just okay, let's also do one thing. Let's also put some sound. Here, let's trim it up. Let's make it little bit low. Okay, and let me just fit it here. Awesome. Let's do one thing. We require the car sound to come here. Okay, awesome. Okay, here we go. Okay, so everything is now perfect. Now what we can do is that we can make this clip very much effective. How? By using effects. You can just click here on the effects, and for example, here you can see that at the second main timeline we have this particular TV. Okay, so what I can do is that I can put the effects. First of all, I can just go here and I can just put the effects. So to use an effect, you can just see how the effects will going to work on, okay, on your video. So make sure you select the video and then just see how it will going to look like. Same with the colors, same with the color presets. Okay, so this is looking something like old. Okay, so I'm liking this one. Okay, so I can just drag it and I can just put above this clip like this, so the effect has been added. Now you can see this is how the old effect it will go, because here we have a old TV. So now what we can do is that I can just click on this clip. Let's transform it. Select this clip, turn on the transform. Okay, and let's make it small. So I want to feed this to our TV. Okay, so what we guys can do now to do this, we can use the effects as well. So for example, if you let's say go to this, let's say Marks and King, so here you will going to find, let's say, this TV type of effect. So I can just select that and I can put that here. Now you can see that I'm getting this TV type of effect. Now I can just drag it to make it align. Let's just do it from bottom. Awesome, like this. Let's do it from the side corners, from these corners. Okay, it's max. Awesome. Let's put and drag it from the bottom. Awesome. So you guys can see that we have put the clip. Now you can see it's looking more like it's inside the TV, right? So similarly, let's take and put, let's say, looks. So here we have lots of looks. Let's say if we just talk about this old world, so you can see it will going to look more fine here. I can just see this in the preview. Just hover on this effect so you can see that how it will going to look in the preview. Okay, so this old world is looking great, so I can just drag it and put it at top here, and it will going to apply. Now see it, right? So that's how you guys can put the effects. Now there are plenty tons of effects. Now you just have to try it out, okay? And then after you will going to try it up, so you will going to know that which effects to choose. And apart from the video, we also have the audio effects. Okay, so you can just play, right click, okay, and you can just play the audio one. Okay, so there are lots of audio one, so you can see to use any audio, just click here and see how it will going to work. Like same with the channel one. Okay, same with this one, and whatever you will going to like, you can just put that inside this audio like this. Okay, now see. Okay, so for example here, let's say we have a car radio, so I can also put this effect as well. Right, so you can just try it out. We have cartoon animals as well, so you can even put the multiples as well. Like this. Okay, so that's how these effects work. Okay, so it's very amazing to use these effects. Okay, and you can just put those effects on your clips, and you can make it more interesting. For example, you can even cut the clips into several parts. For example, I can just cut it from here, cut it from here, cut it from here, and I can just click on A button. Now I can just put different video clips in all the stuff. For example, the first one I can just put here this one. Okay, and in the second one I can, let's say, put the threshold. Just for an example, we have no context here to do such things, but just for a good teaching purpose, we are just doing it. Okay, and we have the color one as well. Okay, now see it. Right, so that's how you can use effects in your video clips, and you can make it more attractive. Okay, and this is what I just want to tell you about effects. Make sure you use all of them so that you can know that which options are available and which option is most suitable for your kind of work. Okay, now guys, we will going to talk about compounding clips and putting effect on it. So it's very amazing. See, the problem right now we have is that we have multiple clips. For example, 1 2 3 4, we have another clip, we have a music. So there might be the scenario where you want to add the effect to overall clip. Maybe you are doing editing. You all know that we put various images, audios upon each storyline. Okay, so if we just try to open the effect, and suppose I want this effect, so you can see that if I just even want to drag this effect, I can either put in this clip, this clip, this clip, this clip, even in let's say this clip. But what if I want to put this particular clip throughout my video? So that is the problem. So here comes the concept of compound. Okay, so let me just close it up for now. So what you can do is that you can merge these all files into your storyline and then you can edit. It's very simple. What you have to do is that take your cursor anywhere in the free area and select all these items. After that, right click and right click anywhere here, and then you will find this option called as new compound clip. Click on that, name it, for example, let's say compound. Click on OK. Now you will going to see the video which we have created is now combined into a one flavor. Now if I want to add any particular clip, so I can add any particular effect throughout this video. Amazing, right? Now this is the compound thing. So you, in this way, you can merge. Maybe you have multiple images, videos and everything, so you can just merge them into one storyline and you can make them one clip. Okay, and similarly, let's say here we have one effect, that is, let me just go to all and let me just search for letterbox. If I just put this one, so it will just going to provide you some borders and all. So let me just put the, let's say, letterbox effect here. So you can see here we have this letterbox in the inspector. You can see the letterbox is added. Now related to that, we have certain settings. We have the this keyframe settings which you guys can put. But let's first talk about this. Let's say we have this border size. So if I just increase it, see what will going to happen. You can see the effect, right? So now what we can do is that suppose if we just put the complete border size to this one. So even from the video start, there will be no such effect. But what we guys can do is that we can do the keyframe. For example, I will put the cursor here, and after I will going to put the cursor here. So here at the right side, you will going to see this option of keyframe. Just over here, it will tell you that this is a keyframe. Just select that. Okay, and keyframe is added. Now just click on this space button, and at this point, what you guys can do, you can just increase the border a little bit. Again, play the video. Now here also you can just increase the border. Again, click on the play button. Again, just increase the border like that. Now just completely play the video. So you guys can see that's how amazing the keyframe effect is. So instead of just doing it one time, you can just make it during the video, so that it looks more amazing in the form of animation, right? So this is the compounding feature you can use with effects. Now guys, we will going to go ahead with the topic of color correction. So here you guys can see that in our video there's so much effect. So first what I can do, I can remove them, and let's say if I just take this complete video. Okay, so you can see there is a lot of sun exposure and all. Okay, so in case if I want to do and apply the color correction, so how I can do that? Okay, so for example, what I can do is that I can just open this effects here. Okay, and in the video you guys can just see all in the color board. Okay, that is the color board. Okay, I can just drag it and put it inside this video, and you will going to notice that nothing will going to change, right? So to do some changes in the this effect, so you just have to see the inspector. Okay, you can just see the parameter here. Okay, of color both. Okay, and when you will double click here, so this whole pop-up will going to open here. Okay, so here you guys can do a lot of things. So first we have the global. Okay, so it will just going to give a global effect. Okay, like the way you want. Okay, and so on, right? So basically there is no such rule of color correction. It's just about when you run any video or any particular part of the video or anything, and if you find that something is not good, okay, so you can just try to play around with all these settings. Second is like a shadow, so it will just going to reduce the shadow as well. So if you want to reduce the shadow and all, so you can just do that here. From the global also you can just reduce the global effect and all, and same you guys can just do with the midstone. So midstone is the between temperature and shadow. Okay, so it's a condition between shadow and temperature. So you guys can see when you will going to decrease it, so that's how it will going to put. Even you can just make some changes and see if it's up to mark by you or not. The which we basically have to focus for this type of exposures is basically the highlights. Okay, so you can just try to adjust the highlights, and you can see that now I'm just moving at the top, so I can just make some of the exposure eliminate. Okay, earlier it was like this. Okay, so you can see when you try to see those exposures, so you feel like it's not so much comfortable with your eyes. So that's why I'm adjusting it until I find very much good enough for my eyes, right? So this is all about your color. Okay, but you can just go directly to the exposure setting. Okay, and you can just manage that here. It's a more effective way. Okay, so let me just first of all let me just undo all the settings. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let me just go directly to exposure. Okay, for example, just go to exposure, and also you can just go up and down here. Okay, for example, with the global setting, you can just go up and down and see if things are working great or not. If no, you can just try with other one. So you just have to make the tweaks until you find it to be appealing to your business or a project. Okay, but the main we have to focus is in the highlights. Okay, so I can see that when I reduce, when I'm just trying to reduce the highlights. Okay, so that exposure is going away. Now let me just try to increase the global effect little bit without increasing that exposure. Okay, and in this way you guys can just play along, and you can just make sure that you expose. So here you guys can see it's a big sunlight, that means, and this is the small sunlight. So more you will take to the small, so the sunlight effect will go. But when you will going to increase it more, so you will going to get more sunlight type of effect. So this is all about color effects. Same, you can just try to play along with all of them and see how the things basically go. Okay, and when you will going to find it good to go for your category, then you guys are amazing. You guys are basically good to go. Okay, so you can also give some colors in the highlights as well. Okay, anything which you feel is good for you. Awesome. right? So that's all about the color corrections we have. So make sure that when you put some, even effects, so those effects will not going to show you directly, okay? So to make those effects, you just have to make sure that you uh, you know put those effects, that means just change the effect from the effect setting, okay? And that's it, and this is what I want to tell you. Even you can just crop anything, and there you can just apply more effect. For example, here if I want to put the blackish effect, now see, like that, okay? Here it's a white and here it's a red. So that's how it works. Basically there's nothing complicated. It's very easy to apply the color correction, but it makes a lots of difference in your particular clips, okay? Now guys, we will going to talk about the green screen. So in the folder we have provided you under intermediate effect this particular video, okay, which we will going to use for the testing purposes, okay? So to use this thing, let's just import it, okay? Import, let's say this green one, okay? So here we have this green footer, green screen foot, for testing purpose, okay? So first of all, let me just mute it, okay? So here we have this video, okay? So in this particular video, what we will going to do is that we will going to use the effects, okay? So first effect, basically what we can do is that we can just search for, let's say, this one, that is green screen here, okay? So this is basically the tool. It will going to help us, okay? So you just have to drag this up here, okay? So you will going to see that majority of the stuff has been removed. So basically using green screen, what you guys can do, you can change the background of your, okay? It is not compulsory to have a green screen. You can have blue screen as well or anything, but the color behind should be perfect, okay? But basically people use the green screen, okay? And you can just search for one more effect, let's say draw marks, okay? So draw marks can also help you to do plenty of things. For example, using this draw marks tool, okay? Let me just show you guys. Okay, let's just go here to the draw marks tool, okay? So basically using this draw marks tool, you can just mark the area where you want to put the green effect. So it's not compulsory in our case, okay? But still if you want, you can do that. So automatically you will going to see only this area it will going to apply, okay? But let's not use the draw marks. Awesome, let's untick it, okay? So that we don't use the draw marks. But here we are with the green screen clear one. So this help us to remove the green screen. Now you can see even after removing the green screen, we have these patches, okay? So you can just use this sample color, okay? Just click on this sample color and just go to the area where you want, okay? Let me just, like this. Now you will going to notice the complete area has been removed with the white patches. So in your case also you might have that white patches, so you can use it. Even you can just use the edges, okay? So if you just click on these edges, so what will going to happen is that all the green screen in the edges will going to get removed, like here, Okay, don't apply it too much, otherwise it will completely going to remove that. Awesome, right? So this is what all about our green screen. Okay, let me just remove this again. Awesome. Okay, then we have the strength. You can just reduce it. So sometimes what happen, there are only some minor, like here you can see there is only minor which is not getting removed. So sometimes what we do, we just intentionally just increase it, and then we use our tool. Okay, so it can automatically deduct all of them. Okay, so for that reason only we use this one. Then we have here three views you can see. First is the original one. Second, we're going to make this object white color. Click on that and you can see it has been turned to object. So basically sometimes it may you may see some kind of blackish thing inside this body. Okay, so if you will going to find that, so in that case you just have to increase the fill holes. Okay, and edge distance, just adjust that. Okay, so it's in our case it's not showing, but there's a very rare chance that you may see that after you will go here to this matty view, so you may see that. Okay, so when any person just move their hands here and there, okay, so at that particular point of time you may see some of the white or black things inside. So you just have to adjust the fill holes and edge distance and nothing else. Okay, then you don't have to do anything in color collections, and basically all the things are sorted up. So that's how it works, and this one is basically to go back with the green color like that original one. Okay, let's go with this one again. We have got this white color, let's remove it. Awesome, like this. Awesome. So that's how you guys can practice with the green color and use it. Okay, and this is very much effective way to remove the background. Now the magic is that after you will going to remove the green screen, you can just put any background. For example, let's take about, let's say this one. Okay, so I can just drag it, let's say, down here, and you can see I have put this girl to the back of the screen. Okay, even with the transform you can just of course adjust it like this. So basically we do this maybe when we want to explain something. Okay, or you might have seen some instructors, they just record their screen and at the right side they just show their face. Okay, or some gamers. Okay, so for them this type of this kind of thing is kind of useful. Okay, this is what it is, by the way. Okay, and this is how you guys can use the green screen. Okay, and hope you guys have understood it. Okay, now guys we will going to teach you about audio synchronization and all. Okay, so what is this? So it's a very basic thing but still can help you with a lot of you guys. Okay, so you can just import the file. So here you guys were going to see we have also put two files, that is recording voice testing and video record audio testing. Just import these two files. Awesome. So you guys can see we have these two files over here. Okay, so you can just drag this one here. Okay, so you guys can see that this is one video. So let's record the voice memos. Okay, so whatever it is, so let's. Okay, so sometimes what happen even in our studio, what we do is that we just have one video with audio. Okay, but sometimes what happen, we also have some specialized high quality audio which we have also recorded. So we want to use that audio with this particular clip, right? So how we guys can do that, and it's also very much important how we guys can sync those things with each other, right? So here you guys can see we have this video audio. So first method is that if you have this video, okay, so you guys can just drag this video, sorry, here like this. So let's record so you guys can see the perfect, there is no perfect tuning, okay, okay, so whatever it is, so let's record the whatever it is. So for that we just need to adjust it manually. For example, so I can just put it here to match with the gap, something like this. So let's record memos, okay, so what little bit more. So this is the manual method. I will also going to show you the automatic method we do have in the Final Cut Pro as well, but let's first go with the manual one. So let's record memos, okay, so whatever it is, so let's record whatever it is. So that's how you guys have to adjust it manually. So let's record the memos, voice. Okay, and let me just do one thing. Let me just first mute the first one, so I will going to get idea. Voice memos, okay, so whatever it is, so voice move. Okay, so voice should be starting from here, okay. Now let me just make it up. So let's record a move. Okay, so voice is coming something here, so let me now just see the voice memos, okay, so whatever it is, so let's record. So now you guys can see the wave, okay, now it's working absolutely same, right? You guys can see the wave is almost same. So this is the manual method, okay. And another so basically this is possible when, let's say, this this audio is very high quality audio, and this video which contains audio within the video, okay. So sometimes many people do not love this clip because they already have one high quality audio, okay, for their work. So how you guys can sync the data? So first of all, you can just remove some unnecessary path. For example, let's say this path. Awesome. The voice memo, okay. And okay, so this is the audio till this much. Good to go. Now let me just remove this part. Oops. Okay. Awesome. Right. So there is one more method if you will going to see this over here. Okay. So for that you just have to make sure you just delete them, but it's not necessary the automatic will always going to work, because Final Cut Pro tries to give you the result, okay, but still what happen is that it doesn't work that way, okay. So for example, this is my high quality audio and I do not want the first one with the video and audio together, so I can just reduce the voice like this, and only the second one will going to work. Memos, okay, so whatever it is, so, right. But same thing can be done with the automatic method, where the video clip will be muted automatically and it will just going to sync with the audio, okay. So how you guys can do that? Let's see that. So for that you just have to select the audio first. Let's select this audio, click on shift button, then select the second one, then right click, then you will going to see the synchronized clips, okay. So just click on that and you can just name it testing synchronized, okay, video record audio testing synchronized. So it will just going to create one new file, which is this one. Let's play this. Voice memos, okay, so whatever it is, so you guys can see it has automatically deducted that, and on that basis it has done the tasks carefully, okay. And you can see and I can see basically everything is working. Voice memos, okay, so whatever it perfectly, right. So this is the feature we have of audio synchronization, and of course we can just delete the unwanted parts if we want to. That's it. But Final Cut Pro, in my particular case, it has done the correct tasks, but still, as I have mentioned, the automatic method doesn't work the same way always. Okay, so that's why I have told you the manual method, where you just have to adjust the clip and audio together to synchronize it properly with your video and audio together. Okay, so hope you guys have somehow understood the idea about the music synchronization automatic, and we have also told you the manual method as well. Okay, now guys, if you want to track something, okay, so by the way, we have provided you this file under the intermediate cool, okay, this video, so you can just get it imported here. Okay, so let's suppose if I just import this here, and suppose I just want to put anything, maybe it can be a text or any shape or anything, and I want it to get tracked. Okay, so that means whenever this girl will move, like she's moving, so I want the text to get moved along with her. Okay, so that is possible through the tracking path. Okay, and in the Final Cut Pro, everything is automatic and easy. Okay, so let me show you how you guys can do that. For example, you can just go ahead to the text. You can select any text. Okay, that doesn't matter. For example, if I select the custom one, I will just drag the custom one, and I will take the plus button something towards the girl like this. Okay, so Final Cut Pro will automatically going to detect that this is one object, and the object can be anything. It can be a car, girl, or anything. Then I will leave it, and after that you will going to see the option of analyze. Okay, so you can see at the top analyze, so just click on the analyze button, and now analyze will be done by the Final Cut Pro. Awesome, now just see the magic. If I just run the video, so along with her the text will also going to move, and you can just make it to the full one, okay, if possible till here. So still, it will going to work the same way. Awesome. Now you might want to track any one part. Okay, for example, let's say if you want to let's say make the text to come to right, so you can see Final Cut Pro gives you this black option of the towards your text or any object. You can just drag it like this, so you want that whenever she moves, so it should show here at the back. Okay, now see, but make sure, okay, let's see like this. Okay, so that's how you guys can do. And now let's do one more thing. For example, we only want to track on the basis of her head. Okay, so I can just shrink it like this from all the sides, and I can make this middle center, drag her towards her face, and I can again just click on this analyze button. Now you can see Final Cut Pro will going to analyze on the basis of her face. Awesome. Now just see the magic. But you will going to notice everything is working absolutely fine, but the problem is coming when this text is getting tilted. So we don't want that. Okay, so there is a good solution. You can just go to this option of video over here. Okay, and from this option you will see this transform option. Just click on this drop down arrow, and from here just untick the rotation. Now you will see the rotation will going to leave. Okay, everything is now perfect. Now this is the automatic method. There are other methods as well. You can just explore the other methods at the very bottom. Okay, let me just see if we can just get those. Okay, here in the type you can see right now it's automatic. Okay, or you can just go to the text. Wait, let me see. We do have that options, but by the way automatic will going to work, but still if we can see that option, otherwise because I generally use this automatic only. Okay, and this always works the great. But there are the options. I guess Final Cut Pro has remove all the options because they are pretty much great. So this is basically how you guys can track it, and there's nothing else, and in this way you guys can just track anything. Okay, awesome. So that's how the tracking system works in your Final Cut Pro, which you can use. Okay, so now guys, for practice we have also provided you two files. One is this one and this one is of location. You will not going to see right now. Let's first drag this clip. Okay, and from this clip, what we guys can do now is that we can select this particular clip and just drag it here, okay, to let's say this particular car. Okay, now you can see the text is too big. By the way, you can just increase it. Okay, and you can just go to transformation, and from here you guys can make it small. Okay, and you guys can just move it here in the head of this person. Now just see. Okay, so after you will going, okay, let's do it again. Okay, just drag it here to this person like this. Okay, and just go to transformation, just go and make it small. Just drag it here, just go to tracker here. Okay, just go to the head of it, click on the analyze button. Awesome. Now let's see. You can see it's now perfectly working. Okay, you can just of course put the B1 and you can just cut that. Click on A button, select this and just remove these two. Awesome. And here you guys can see at this particular point of time it's not going well. Okay, so what you guys can do is that select this clip, right click, and then click on okay, so it's already showing. Okay, so tracker is here. Okay, so at which point you guys are saying from this point, right? You can just click on R button, R for range. Okay, and just select this particular range where this is not working fine. Okay, select that, click on the analyze button, and now it should basically going to get work. Okay, so let's see that. Click on A button, and now you guys can see it's working fine because we have just set it fine, right? Right, so that's how you guys can fix it if it face any problem. And along with that, as we have mentioned, if some transformations happens, okay, on your clip and all, so in that case what you have to do is that you just have to go to the transformation option, make sure you just turn off the rotation. Okay, so now everything will basically going to work fine, right? So that's how you guys can even do the advanced tracking as well. And we have also shown you that in case if it doesn't work the way you want it to, so so how basically you can fix it up. Okay, so that is what we have also told you here. Okay, awesome. So hope you guys have understood about this tracking system. Now guys, we have just talked about various effects and various plugins. So basically plugins are like some more functionality. Like here you can see we can just put the plugins in generator. We can create using one by using Apple Motion. Now we will not going to talk about Apple Motion, but what you guys can do is that you can just do a simple YouTube search. Okay, like free Final Cut Pro X plugins. You will going to find plenty of tutorials where other creators can offer you their plugins for free, their effects for free. You can even search on Google free Final Cut Pro plugins and so on. You can see here we have lot many different websites. Okay, and similarly, the amazing thing is that as we have mentioned that you can also use your own. Okay, so in the movies we have just try to upload that. Okay, remember, so just go to the movies again, but here you can just go to movies in the Apple Motions, right? So you guys can create one folder called as effects. Awesome. And here you guys can upload those files. Okay, so let me just see those files. So this was the file, so I can just simply, let's say, open this one and let's just drag it. Okay, so you will basically going to see by closing it. Okay, and you will going to find those will be added. Okay, to your effects. Along with that, you can just do the same process to get the effects from the browser. Okay, but by default all these effects are sufficient. I have never used any effects and plugins. By default, whatever Final Cut Pro has given us, I always use that. But if you are very high professional editor, so they may require that. Okay, so in that case, if you are that person who knows about plugins and effects, so for them they already know how to get some plugins and effects. Okay, you can just do some Google search as well, free FCR effects and so on, right? And you will going to find plenty of tutorials how those operates and so on. Okay, so we will not going to talk about that in now. Okay, but that is the option you also have. You can just upload your own effects as well. Okay, now guys, you all know that we have learned a lot many things. So for example, if we can use some effects and all. So for example, we just have some effects. Let's say if I just put some effects, let's say the glow effect. Okay, and after I have got some glow effect, now I can just use some other things like, let's say, uh, anything. Okay, so for example, if I just go to lights or let's say looks, and I can, let's say, make this with the different effects like that. Okay, and along with that I can just go there and I can just change any stuff. Okay, and so on. So sometimes what happen, we just like some effect. Maybe we are doing some work and we only use, let's say, some effects and some settings again and again, right? So when you want to save your time, that means when you want to use those same clips again and again in future every time, so what you guys can do, you guys can use the concept of save effect preset. Okay, so it's basically for those people who just want to use the same effects which they generally do in all their clips. Okay, or in all their projects. Okay, so that they don't have to do all the effects. That means they don't have to put the effects again and again and again. They don't have to change the settings. So what they can do is that they can just go here and they can just click on save effect preset. They can just put like custom one. Okay, so I can just write here custom one test. Okay, and in which category you want to put, let's put to basic. Okay, so basic will come here in this particular area, and you can just choose the transformations, and if you are just changing something from here. Okay, so what are all the settings which you want to do from here, you can also do that over here. Okay, but let's just go ahead, click on the save button. Now if you will just go to basic, so you will going to see your custom one test effect is here. Okay, so you can use this same effect in your another clips like this. You can see it will just become the same effect which it has. Okay, so that's a very great thing. Okay, which you guys can do. Also one more thing, let me just take, let's say, this video again. Awesome. Okay, So there is also one more thing. You can just if you want to even paste the effect from one clip to another, because sometimes what happen is that we cannot save some effects, okay, for small to small clips, for 1 to 2 clips. But of course you can use the save effect preset if you are just using the same effect in all your project. But that doesn't make sense if you are working in the simple project, and for that single project only you want to use the same one type of effect, okay, for that particular project. So for that, instead of creating custom preset, what you guys can do is that you can just press command C, just copy that and just go to the clip where you want to select that, and you can press command shift and V, okay. Also let me just show you with the multiple clips. For example, if I just oops sorry if I just go ahead and drag this one. Awesome. So for example, you can say these are the two videos. So I want that this effect which I have, okay, should be also applied to this clip and this clip. So for that, just select this clip, click on command and C to copy it. Then what you have to do is that you just have to select these two clips like this, then press command shift and V. Then you can see that effect has been copied from the first one, and where we want to paste, we want to paste in the two clips. And what are the effects you want to paste? The cool tones effect or what effect? So you can select that. Even if you want to put the rotation and all, even you can do that, okay. Then just paste it. Now you will going to see it will just going to apply the same effect in all the clips, right? So hope you guys are understanding. So I simply mean to say that it is not a good idea to always create one custom preset until unless you will going to use that particular preset or effects in majority of the project you will going to create. For example, if you are just creating one single project and in that single project only you want to use that particular effect, so you can just use this copy and paste effect or copy and paste function which I have just now shown you. So this will also going to work for you instead of saving presets for each and everything, because more you will going to save, more it will going to fill and it will going to look very much messy. So create the effect preset until unless you are 100% sure that I will going to use this particular effect in my 80% of Final Cut Pro X projects, right? So that is what I just wanted to tell you for this video. Now guys, we will going to talk about consolidated library and how you can share it. So basically you can see that we have created a lot of files right together, and we have just taught you a lot many things and different settings we have explored in the Final Cut Pro. But what if you want to share this to someone else? Maybe you have done these tasks and maybe you want to share this particular library to someone else. So how you can do that? So basically, first of all, if you will going to click here at the top in the library, okay, in the library I'm talking. So here in the library, you will going to see that this particular library, sorry, let's select it again. This particular library show so much storage, 18.4 GB of storage. So for a long term use, this big type of file is not recommended, but still that's depend on you if you want to keep it or not. But we are right now not deleting any of them, okay. If you are thinking that I'm just planning to delete all of them, no, we won't do that. We will going to consolidate all these files so that we can share this to someone else, because see, right now we have just done very basic things and the file size has become too big, and you cannot share these big files to someone else, right? So what's the proper method? So the very proper method is that just select this one and just go at the top, click on this file and then click on this consolidate library media, okay. Click on this option and just make it Okay, now you can just transcode it. Okay, so the file may become a little bit bigger. Okay, the media file will become little bit bigger or not, it totally depends, by the way. But now what you have to do after you will consolidate the library, now what you have to do is just go to the file again, click on delete generated file and just select the options. Now it doesn't mean that you will going to delete all the original file. It generally means that when you will going to, let's say, again come back to this particular project, it will take Final Cut Pro more time just to render all this media and all and nothing else. Okay, so just click on this OK button. Okay, now basically after some time you can see the file size has become very small. Okay, and this file you can basically share with another person and they can use it, okay, instead of earlier one. So that's all about this consolidated thing which I have just now mentioned. And make sure if you want to share your file, so do not directly share to them. Okay, just make it first of all consolidated, then delete all the generated stuff, then your file will become smaller and then you guys can share it. That's it. Okay, so hope you guys have understood about this concept, and hope you guys have understood how we can share the file. Now guys, we will going to talk about proxy media. Okay, what is proxy media in the Final Cut Pro? So basically it refers to lower resolution versions of your original high resolution video files. Okay, here's why and when you might want to use them. So first is the easier editing. Okay, so working with 4K or higher resolution files can be demanding for your computer. Proxy files are smaller and requires less processing power, making editing smoother, especially on the less powerful machines. Now second point is the efficient workflow. Okay, when you are editing you can switch to the proxy media for a more fluid experience, then you can switch back to the original high resolution for the final output. Third benefit is that proxy file takes up less space, which can be helpful if you're working with the limited storage. Now, in nutshell, see sometimes what happens, we when we try to edit something, maybe if your computer or your Mac is not that much powerful, maybe you have less storage. So at that time what happen is that when we try to do some editing, okay, so our Mac becomes too much laggy. Okay, it gives you too much lagging experience. So to avoid that, what we can do is that we can just create the version of our media, okay, in the terms of proxy. So basically proxy will just going to create a lighter version of the original version. That means the file will become very small, so you can easily edit that, and when you try to export that file, so you can just export that to the whatever quality you want, right? So for example, if you whenever you try to export something, for example, if I let's say select this file, so here you guys will going to see this option of a create proxy media. Okay, so you can see in the description it will just going to create the copies of media optimized for the smaller file size and faster editing performance. Okay, so I will going to suggest you can also tick mark this option, but if you also want the proxy media, you can just of course tick mark this and select it to proxy and make it to 50%. Okay, you can of course go with more lower, but 50% is what we recommend. Then just click on this import selected file and you will going to see the file. Okay, wait, let me just show you guys. Let's create one new library, let's say dummy one. Okay, awesome. So okay, let me just try to import this file again. Okay, 50%, awesome. So you can see we have got this file. Okay, so if you will notice that this file is not in the original file, that means the size of this particular media has been decreased 50%. Okay, so now even if you just go here and when you will just going to click on proxy only, so it will just going to show all the proxy file. Okay, so for example, I can just do the normal editing with this. Okay, you can just create one new project um, under the dummy one. Let's put it dummy project itself. Okay, okay, so here let's import this particular file. So you will going to see this file is of not that much high quality. Okay, you can see the file is of not that much high quality. So basically it's just for making your editing process very much easy. See, if you try to upload this type of heavy file while doing editing, so what will going to happen is that you will going to see lagging on your Mac computers. Okay, or your RAMs and CPUs will go high, and the temperature of your Mac will also going to go up. So to avoid that, we just reduce the file of this file just for a temporary purpose. Okay, so that we can just do proper editing, and after we have done all these things, then we can just export this particular file to the very high quality, okay, the way we want. So that's what where proxy comes into help. Okay, so if you will just now going to, let's say, import some other file, let's import it, but let's not select this to the proxy. Okay, so you will going to notice that this file is saying missing proxy. Why? Because we have unticked the proxy, and here you can see we have only told that only show all the proxy file. If I will just going to click on optimize and original, all files will going to display. Okay, so that's how. So this file is totally original file. Okay, but the concept of proxy, you guys are understanding what it is. So it's basically going to help you to make your editing very much easy, because it will reduce the file size, plus you can easily do editing with the 4K and 8K resolutions even without importing such big files. Okay, so hope you guys have somehow understood the concept of proxy we have in the Final Cut Pro. Now guys, we will going to talk about index and all. So for example, if I just import more files, so for example, let me just select, let's say, this file, okay, and let me just import it. Okay, and let me also import some other files as well. Maybe this file and all these files. Okay, so sometimes what we do is that we just do a lot of editing. For example, we put our edit stuff here, and then we also have some audios as well. Okay, where we are basically working. Okay, I can also detach the audio completely. Okay, so there are a lot of conditions. Okay, and also we have some let me just see, we do have some other, let me just import some other medias as well. Okay, okay, then we have some audio here. So basically when you do lots of projects and all those stuff, so at that time it's very much become difficult, because we have very small clips here. We just cut some clips there. Okay, we put some of the clips here. Okay, so it's become basically very complicated to handle and find all the files. Okay, so what we do is that we just take the help of this function called as index. Okay, so you can just click on the index, and in the index you guys can find. So if you have named the file, so it's very much good idea that before you import anything, just try to name the file. Okay, right now you can see all the file name is very much complicated, but what you guys can do is that you can just rename this file before you import this, okay, to whatever you want. So it also becomes very much easy. For example, if I just want to find something that is related to car, I can simply search that and I can find that. Okay, for example, I just want to see the passport audio, so I can see, you can find it over here. Also at the bottom you guys can see we have video, audio and titles as well. So from here also you can just find that file, and you can see when you will going to tap on that file, you will see that file will be highlighted. Okay, so basically this is the power of index. So basically index helps you to see how many files you have in your timeline. Okay, I'm not talking about this part, I'm just talking about this part. Okay, your timeline. So whatever file you will going to have, whatever in the media, images or anything, okay, audio, whatever you have in your timeline, so all that things will going to show up here. Okay, so basically using this you can identify which file I want to see and what. Okay, so it's basically useful when you try to have lots of editing stuff in your project. Okay, then here you guys can see we have a text and roles. So what is roles? Let me show you guys. So what you guys can do, you can also change the color of anything. For example, if you just right click, okay, then you will see assign audio roles. So for example, I want it to be in purple color, so you will going to see this particular file will going to show in the purple color. So for everything you can just change the color. For example, if I just right click on this file, I can also assign video roles. I can even go to edit roles and I can find multiple stuff. For example, I can click on video roles. I can just click on this one and I can say, I can name it whatever I want. For example, there is, let's say, my friend file. So I can just name this girl. Suppose she is my sister, okay, and her name is Tara. Okay, her name is Tara. So I can just do that and I can just click on the apply button, and now I can just go to Tara's video. Okay, I can right click, I can assign the videos to the Tara. So now I will basically going to know, okay, this is in the orange color and I have named this to the Tara's one. So that's how it works. Okay, so in this way you can just totally customize. Even with the audios, you can just right click, you can assign audio roles, let's say to green color. So you will see that this color will going to change to green. Similarly, you can right click on this file, you can just name it to, let's say even in the audio files you can just name it to different one. Let me just name it to, let's say main. Okay, something like main, apply, and now if I will just right click, I can just go to video and I can just put the main, okay, to this color. Okay, to the main color. Okay, so it will basically going to work, okay, for each and everyone, but I don't know why it's not working. Let me just see that again. Main, okay, let me just and from here you can just define the change in color. Okay, so basically you can just apply that. Okay, sorry, one thing I have forgotten to tell you. Basically in your main storyline it will not be applied, but above that, for example, these files are attached file with the main timeline one. I'm extremely sorry, I have forgotten to tell you. Okay, for example, I want to apply this to, let's say, red color, so I can just do that. Okay, or let me just go with main. I want to, let's say, name it as a red color. Right click, video roles, let's say red color. So you will see it will turn to red. So in this way you guys can just change each and every file, so that you can basically locate that which file has which color and for which particular file what color you are using for. Okay, and in the roles you guys will going to find all the details. For example, the purple, okay, like Tara we have created, so we know that, okay, this is the Tara file and it will automatically going to get highlight. Okay, so that's how basically it will going to work. Same with the audios as well. Okay, so this is a very coolest feature given by Final Cut Pro. So using this, we guys can easily highlight any of the files in different color. That can better help us to do the editing the very effective way. Okay, so this is what I just want to tell you about the index and rules. Okay, which you can give to any clips. Now guys, we will going to talk about the Snapchat or you can say snapshot option in the Final Cut Pro. So this feature is very much amazing. So if you can just put any project to the snapshot, right click, and then you will going to see the option as a snapshot project. Now what is that? So see, in Final Cut Pro, the snapshot feature creates a static version of your project at that specific point in the time, while the duplicate feature, you might be thinking, see here we have two options, either we can just do the snapshot and duplicate the project, but what's the difference? So this is what I'm just trying to tell you. Okay, what is snapshot and how it is differ from the duplicate feature. Okay, so a snapshot is a complete copy of the project at the moment it's created. Okay. Unlike a duplicate, it is disconnected from the original media used in the timeline. This means if you make changes to the original media like retiming, color correction, etc., those changes will not be reflected in the snapshot. It's particularly useful if you want to preserve a version of your project as it is before making significant changes or trying out new edits. For example, if you have finished a rough cut of your beach vacation video project, okay, and want to try some experiment edits without losing the work you have done, you create a snapshot of the project and it's now saved as beach vacation rough cut snapshot. Any changes you make to the original media after this point will not affect this snapshot. Let's try this. So you just have to go to this project. Okay, now just right click and click on snapshot project. After you will going to do that, so you can see that snapshot project has been created for this particular date at this particular time. Now whatever changes you will basically going to do, okay, so it will basically not going to impact on your original project. That means you can just start it from this particular time. Okay, for example, if I just try, let's say if I just put cut and something like that. Okay, so you will going to notice that it will not going to directly impact here. For example, if you have done this, if you go to the snapshot project, okay, so it will just going to be safe, it will not going to put any impact here. Okay, um, so this is what about the snapshot project we have over here. Okay, so it will just be safe at this particular time, and let's say you can just try to do some things, you can just try to remove some stuff and so on, but this project will be 100% safe, so you can just come to this project at any particular time, and this is what we have just explained you here. Okay, and duplicate, if you just see about the duplicate, so duplicating a project creates a copy that stays linked to the original media. Okay, if you change any of the original media of its property, those changes will also show up in all the duplicates of the project refers to the original media. This is useful when you want to create a new version of the project while still being able to update all instances of the media used within it. Example, you want to have a different version of your beach vacation video, one with a commentary and another without. You duplicate the project and name the new version as the beach vacations with commentary. Okay, if you later adjust the color of the clip used in the both versions will show this color change because they dynamically link to the original media. In essence, in shortcut, a snapshot preserves a project exactly as it is the moment of creation, making it immune to any further changes to the media, while a duplicate remains connected to the original media and reflects changes made to any of its components. Okay, so hope you guys have somehow understood the concept of snapshots and duplicate we have in the Final Cut Pro. So you just have to go to that project and you can just right click and you can just put the snapshot, even just duplicate that. And we have just told you what's snapshot as well as duplicate in this particular video. Okay, now guys, we will going to talk about the audition feature in the Final Cut Pro. Okay, so it allows you to collect and compare different tasks, shots or effects in the single spot within the timeline. It's like having a mini folder for a single clip position that can contain multiple media items, and here how it works. Okay, so let's first discuss in the theory, then we will going to show you in practical and how it works. Okay, so first point is that creating an audition. So you can create an audition by selecting a clip in the timeline, then choosing clip, audition, add to audition from the menu bar, or simply pressing command plus Y. You can also drag additional clips onto the auditions to add them. Now second point is that using an audition. Once you have created an audition, you can click the audition icon which looks like a spotlight to open it, and inside you can skim through the select different options. This could be the different tasks of a line, alternative sounds effect, or color grading options. You can just preview these options in real time in the context of your edit. Then the third point is that deciding on a clip. After reviewing your choices, you can select the one works best for your project. Final Cut Pro will replace the clip in the timeline with your selected option. Then fourth point is that example. So imagine you have three different tasks of a scene. You can create an audition with these tasks. In the timeline, it will appear as a single clip. When you are ready to review, you click the audition icon and select among the takes. Take one might have the best dialogue delivery, take the second as the best lightning, and so on. Okay, so basically what audition is that, for example, let's say this is one video, okay, and if I just drag this video here, okay, let's say this is one video I have over here. Okay, so for example, see, if I want to test it out, okay, for example, if I just apply some effects and so on inside this clip, but what if that effect which I just wanted to target, okay, the imagination which I have seen in the clip doesn't turn out that way? So what we have to do? So see, whenever you want to edit something and you're not sure that what will be the outcome of this, so what you guys can do is that you can use the audition effect or audition feature. You can just, suppose this is the same video, you can just drag it above this like this, then it will just going to give you the option to add to audition. Okay, click on that. Now you will going to notice that here, just follow my cursor, here you will see this type of a point, okay, a symbol. You just have to click here, and after you will going to click on that, you will see the two clips has been added. Now you can select out of these two clips where you want to make changes. For example, I make the changes in this clip. I just go to the second clip, and here I put, let's say, some edits, like let's say this effect or this effect, okay, and let's say some like shadow effect and so on. Okay, so I have got this much effect, but what I am saying is that after I have put the edit, I think that earlier original version was good as compared to this one where I have put the effects. So again, click on this symbol, and this was the edit one, right? You can just again go to the first one and click on this done button. So again you are back to the original one. Okay, so simply not only just checking how it will going to work, you can also use it for various other purposes. Okay, for example, you can just use multiple clips. For example, if I also want to add, let's say, one more clip, this clip again here. Okay, now add to audition. Now you will going to see I will going to get three clips. One is this one, second one is this one, and third one is this one. Now you can even, now you have three options. Now you can just apply different effects on each of the clips and see which is working great for you, and the one which will going to work for you, you can keep that. For example, I have put the effects in this file, and similarly let's put the effect in this particular clip as well, which is the third one. Let's say put side effects. Okay, and similarly let's, in the first clip, this is the first clip, which is the original one, and let's put something, let's say spot here. And after that you can just compare. This is the first clip, this is the second one, this is how the second one is looking. You can just see how it is looking, and similarly you can just compare that with the third one, and third one is looking like this, and then see which is basically giving you more pleasing effect, and whatever you feel is comfortable as per your project, you can just keep that. For example, I think the first one with this effect is looking good, so I can just keep that, and I can work now with my editing. So this is where the audition feature helps, and you just have to drag the file on that particular one, and not the same file. Okay, it's not about only the same file. For example, if I just remove this file, if I just again, let's say, add this file, and suppose I can also add some different file as well on this, like this, and I can click on add to audition. Now you will going to notice we have two files, one is this file and one is this file. Now you guys can just test out which will going to perform for you. Just make the changes there and see and compare which is giving you the good results, and you can just choose that option. Okay, so that's how this audition feature works. You can also just go to the clip, and from here also you can just add the audition, but the very simple way is to just drag the file on that particular clip where you want to do that. Same, it will going to work with the audios as well. Okay, so that's how this works. Okay, for example, now guys, we will going to talk about color corrections and color wheel. Okay, so these are also related to the color correction, but you have more manual control over here. Okay, so what you can do is that you can just click on this view, click on video scopes, then you will see this type of structure will going to open. If you want to hide this media file, so you can just of course untick it so that you can have more space over here. And then what you guys can do is that you can just choose this version, so you will going to get this vector scope as well. Okay, so now we have waveform, RGB overlay, and the vector scope. Also, what we can do is that we can also enable color correction, not with this individual one, but we can just grow here, we can just come here and we can just click on the color wheels. So you can see you will going to get more control over here. So for whatever clip you will going to choose, okay, so for that you will going to have the proper control. So here what we just generally recommend is that you can just go here and select to RGB overlay. Okay, or RGB parade will be a better option. Okay, and you can also make it show skin tone indicator. Okay, now one more thing which you guys can do is that you can just go to Windows. From here just go to workspace. You can just add your own workspace. So if you want to use this format, you want these items and all this stuff again and again, so you can just save it as a workspace. And for example, if I just say like RGB and so I can just save it up, Now whenever in future if I want to visit this same workspace again, so I can just select here RGB and color wheel from here. Okay, so let's talk about this concept of color corrections and wheel. Okay, so color corrections in the Final Cut Pro is the process of adjusting the color in your video to make them as accurate and pleasing as possible. This process ensures that your video looks natural, consistent, and matches intended mood or the style of the project. The color wheel is one of the tools in Final Cut Pro that make use of color correction, and it consists of a four wheels, each serving a different purpose. You can see we have a four wheels: global, highlight, mic tones, and shadows. Okay, so global, it affects the color balance of your entire image. So if you want to maintain the image, so you can just drag and drop here like this. Okay, and let me just see if we can just see in the Lama. Okay, let me see RGB overlay. Okay, so you can just choose anyone, but the many people always suggest that keep it below to this degree. Let me just show you how it will just going to work. I'm not okay, so you can just go ahead with this format as well, but let's just go with the in the histogram only. But make sure, many people say that it should not go above 100 and below 0, but okay, this is the one principle which you can take as a thumb of rule, but still I will going to suggest you guys, whenever you try to adjust something, okay, if you just try to adjust anything, but make sure that when you see your clip, it should look pleasing to your eyes. Okay, that's the only rule. No matter what people say, just keep it to above 100 and below 25 or any rule, but always stick to the rule that whenever you make any changes in your color correction, make sure that that changes which you are doing, it should look attractive. Okay, that's the only principle. Now if we just talk about shadow, so it affects the color balance of the darkest part of the image. Okay, so if you will going to adjust the shadows, you can see it will just going to adjust the darkest part. For example, this area is very dark, so you can see it will just going to adjust those darkest part only. Okay, so that is what the shadow is all about. Then we have a mid-tone, so it affects the color balance of the mid-range brightness areas of the image. Okay, so that is what about this mid-tones is all about. Okay, so it will just going to have the brightness area, so you can see that's how it will. So wherever you will see brightness, like here we can see the sun is very brightness, so it will just going to have the control over it. Okay, so that is what I just want to teach you, that whenever you use color correction, so do not go with any rule of thumb. Try to adjust all of these areas and see in which particular area your clip is looking more great, so you can just continue with that. Okay, and similarly, let's talk about these highlights. Is basically affect the color balance of your brightest part of the image. Okay, so the brightest part, it will just going to adjust, like we want the sun not to show too much. Okay, so this is where the highlight basically comes into action. Okay, so there is no such rule, but still if you want to see the waveform, you can. Okay, but make sure that do not decrease it to below 0 and do not make it above 100. So this is the rule of thumb many editors follow, but keep that thing in mind. Plus try to also adjust the some veils and see which is very much pleasing to the eyes, so you can effectively go with that particular option. Awesome, right? And not only that, you can select the multiple wheels. Okay, so you are changing, let's say it's something this here, so you can now just compare with the first one as well as the second one from here and see where it's looking great. Okay, so that is what you guys can do, by the way. Okay, so this is all about your color wheels. Now each color wheel is accompanied by the sliders to adjust the intensity, or I can say saturation, of the color you are adding and the brightness of the tonal range. Okay, there are also a master wheel for the overall adjustments as well. Okay, so if you will basically going to scroll down, so here you guys will going to see, from here you can just completely control each and every area, from the temperature, okay, to every part, right? So that is where it's very useful. Okay, so this is what I just wanted to teach you, and this is just an instruction how you can just open the color wheels and nothing else. Okay, so hope you guys have somehow got the more idea about the color correction, and where if you want to change something in the color correction, so how you can do that using the color wheel, and try to adjust it and see wherever your clip is looking good, you can just go ahead with that particular uh, you know uh, I can say with the particular point. Okay, and adjust it and see whichever you will find good, you can just continue with that. Now guys, we will going to talk about the marker feature. Okay, so marker feature is very much effective. So basically you can just take your cursor any point and you can just put their marker. You just have to go at the top of any clip, okay, and press M button, and you will see this marker will going to apply. So even if you trim even if you skim it, so you will going to see in every of your marker it will going to pause. And if you will click here on the double click on the marker, so you can just name it. For example, this marker is for any specific purpose. Okay, so for that you are just marking. Okay, so you can just put that. So I can just say put let's say car disappear at this point. Okay, car disappear, and click on the done button. Now you will going to see that when you will even going to open the index, so there you will going to find in the text car disappear. Okay, so hope you guys are now understanding that you can also put the markers here. Okay, so that's a very great thing. Also if you will just going to drag any clip, okay, for example, if we just put, let's say, some new clip here. Okay, so you will basically going to see at this point it will just going to get stuck. Okay, that means in the marker point, right? So if you will just going to drag it, so you will going to see that it will going to stop over here. Okay, so this is what the feature of marker is, and it's very much effective and helpful. Okay, even you can see you have a more feature as well, that you can say let's complete it, or even you can just define with a specific length from this point to this point, car is getting disappeared. Okay, like that. So in this way basically you can also mark that. So for any of the purpose you want to play with this particular area, so even you can do that using the marker. You can just put unlimited markers, you can just put one marker here as well. Okay, sorry, in this clip as well. So just see that. So in all the clips, let me just drag some new clip here, and let me just put the marker here. So even you can see that with this marker it will just going to interact here. Okay, so it's very much useful. So basically it's just a marker that will just going to help you to identify anything. You can just customize it. Maybe if you want to know for some specific point of time where you want to put some marker. Okay, so you can use this functionality of the marker. You can just delete that. Okay, so all the markers you will going to put, it will just going to show you under the text place. Okay, so very effective way. You can, whenever you will make some changes, it will also going to change the name of that marker. Okay, so it's a very useful thing which you guys can use. Okay, and this is all about marker which you guys can use within your project to identify any particular point of clip. Okay, now guys, we will going to talk about Final Cut Pro preference setting. So just press command and comma key, command plus comma key. so that you can just open this box. Okay, so this is the general Final Cut Pro box. So here you have some by default settings which you guys can apply to overall to make changes in your Final Cut Pro. So under general we have a time display, so you can just display the frames like that, okay, starting and ending, but let's keep it to by default here to the hours, minutes, seconds. Okay, and there are a few things which is not too much necessary here. Just go to editing. Okay, and here also you can see, for example, by default the transaction seconds are 1 second. So even if you want to put some transactions, so if you want to by default increase the length of that transaction, so you can just do that from here. Okay, then we have playback. So what is basically playback? So here first of all we have a very important setting of rendering. So what happen is that whenever you upload something, so Final Cut Pro just do rendering of that particular video or any file. If you will going to untick it, so what will going to happen, you can basically save some space on your Mac, but you will also going to notice the performance will going to drop little bit. So if you are a person who is more concerned about that space, so make sure you just untick this option. It can be a valuable setting for you to do. Okay, then here we just don't have that much thing, but here you have this player background. So if right now you can see it's black, that means if you see any of the file, you just move that file. Okay, for example, just put the transformation, so you will see the black color. But if you will going to notice to, let's say, checkbox, so you can more it will be kind of a more visible for you to check the files for that. Okay, then we have some import settings. So by default, if you want to put some import settings, so basically while importing any file, you will see, let's say, this proxy media which we have already taught you. Okay, so if you by default want to enable these settings, you can just do that from here. Rest